Alcaraz and Rafael Nadal playing right now in men's doubles against the American team of Austin Krajicek and Rajiv Ram. The Americans up 1-0 in that match.
It's time. You know what time it is? Time for Tuscaloosa's longest running sports show.
The biggest goal of our team,
especially in the first half,
we at Bama, we're trying to be the best. Always is to win a national championship.
Something cool to look back on.
We don't want to waste a failure.
You're inside the game.
John Mechie on the ground.
Appreciate your interest in the game.
On your home for Alabama sports.
And Alabama wins.
Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. Powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota. And now, here's your award-winning host, Ryan Fowler.
And a big good afternoon to you. Welcome into the game. T-Town Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. You know, my wife being a mental therapist, someone who sees clients and has actually paid, I am not one of those, but I will tell you that it did my heart good to go to football practice today. It's been a long summer. We started about 245 days. We were out in Pasadena with the Michigan Wolverines. Took us, I wouldn't say to the woodshed, but anytime you lose at the University of Alabama, that's always a big thing. And when you look at Alabama losing to the Michigan Wolverines out in the Rose Bowl, we are now, we've turned the page officially, right? We've got our mindset. We've got a focus on what this team is going to look like. We're going to open up phone calls. We're going to react because it's a day of celebration, right? The first day of practice. Wyatt, I can, without any hesitation, without any reserves, I can tell you that after observing 15 minutes of practice, if that team doesn't win a national title, then, I'm going to be disappointed. And no, I'm pulling your leg, but, 20 minutes of observation period, we actually got a little bit more than what I thought. I don't know about you, if you thought the same way, but, when I was, out there, we have in previous years, Coach Saban, I can even go back to when I first got in the media business where we would have the entire practice. Believe it or not, you would just go out and now that was the old school, right? You would sit on that bench and we would be close to the indoor practice facility and that would, the air conditioning in there. And so you'd stand as close to you could, and the door would kind of, provide some ventilation to you. But, today's practice, we got a lot of observations. We'll share some of those. It is a different energy. It is a different vibe, and that's one of the things that we talked about the last couple of days and the last couple of weeks as we tried to give you some insight inside the building. It's here. It's here. Now, 31 days away, we are now officially one Will Anderson away from Alabama Crimson Tide football, brought to you by Alabama Credit Union. We are always powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com, 3325 Skyline Boulevard, and online at TuscaloosaToyota.com. We got Aaron Torres coming up in just a couple of minutes. We're going to feature him at 2:15. We'll feature Alex Scarborough from Bama 247 Sports. We'll talk with him coming up at 3:30. We're going to intermix a lot of your phone calls, a lot of your reaction. Kalen DeBoer's got plenty of audio. We've got that. We're going to work our way into that conversation. But big takeaways. This looks like, and you have a hard time comparing because, remember, when we would go to practice in the spring, we were still kind of in a new adjustment period. We were still learning what Coach DeBoer was going to bring, what type of energy. I will say this, and Wyatt, we were always accustomed to Coach Saban being a hands-on coach. Kalen DeBoer may be more of a hands-on coach than any of the coaches that I've covered. Coach Fran, I don't remember anything of Mike DeBose. I mean, I was here, but I was a part-time member of the media, really. And then I segued into a student assistant job at the University of Alabama. I worked in the football office. So as a student assistant under Fran, and then 2 years under Shula, and that half a semester or whatever it was under Coach Price. But practice, they accomplished a lot. They're a fast-paced practice team. They do accomplish a lot, but I think the one thing my takeaway is 15, 20 minutes, you watch Kalen DeBoer, he's burning some calories. I mean, he is absolutely burning some calories. And as he talked about it, he goes, I'm not going to be wearing a sweatsuit like Kane Womack. That's another beast. Bo Davis was that was very popular with his Signature sweatshirt, and you'd be out there, and I mean the amount of body fluid that you could lose in an amount of time. Because I don't know about you, but I smelled like a horse's rump when I walked out of there at about 11 o'clock. So I did it. White, I'm still learning here, man. But I put a beeline back to Coker, Alabama. got a shower, so I didn't want to sit here for 4 hours hanging out with the best fans of the country and smell like, I just walked out of a locker room. But so anyway, I know that sounds crazy, but and we're all kind of juggling this. I know I heard Gary Harris this morning. I was on with him for a couple of minutes, and we're all adjusting. But think about this time last year, we would be setting up what would be to come, right? Practice at that point would be 3:30. They actually moved it 2:30 during when class was not in schedule, but now starting in the morning at 9 a.m. and then finishing up with Kalen DeBoer's post-practice press conference. Practice number 1, 31 days away, brought to you by Alabama Credit Union. We'll talk to Aaron Torres. We'll dive into it. We'll talk about, what we were able to see. And I know that, there's a lot of people yeah, I know. I just used a backwoods hillbilly term. I get it. Horse's rump. Yeah, I did. I did. I smelled like it was, when you get in your car and you have to roll down your window because you can't even take yourself. That was triple digits out there, the heat index. So, and I'm not in shape, Wyatt. I thought I was. I realized that I was not. That's something that hit me pretty quick. To be able to make it all the way across that practice field, to make a beeline for the quarterbacks. But, speaking of the quarterbacks, Jalen Milroe, and I know it's practice number 1, but you can see his confidence growing in just the limited action. His mechanics seem to be a lot more smoother. The ball gets out of there a little bit quicker. There's no hiccup. It's a quick release, which he's always not really ever been a slow release guy. But you can see that fundamentals is something they have stressed, and I think they were pleased at the back end of spring, 15 days in, and now when you look at that footwork, it just seems like a lot of things are more stable. I know that Mike Detillier has given us some insight into the Manning Passing Academy. I think some of the Mannings kind of pointed this out down there, and that'll be one of the things that we'll dive into. Aaron Torres coming up in just a couple of minutes. We'll talk with him, as we're always powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com. Greg and Athens, you'll be the first caller out of the gate. Remember to download the Tide 100.9 app. We will have all of Alabama Crimson Tide football. We'll have the Kalen DeBoer Show. Man, that's hard to say. The Kalen DeBoer Show, that will be on a different day. And when the university is ready to make that public, then we can talk about it. Until you can pay me $100 and I'll tell you what day it's going to be. We'll have to do it privately. Can't do it on the air because it's completely there. So it will be changing. We've kind of made that pretty clear. It will no longer be on the Nick Saban night that we all came accustomed to for the last 17 years. But remember to download the Tide 100.9 app. It is a free download, Android, iPhone, Google Play. Listen to all of our shows mornings at 6 a.m. with Mark Houston, Wimp and Barry inside the locker room, 7 until 9, 9 until 11, the Gary Harris Show, Wyatt Fulton, T-Town Sports Daily from 11 until noon, and then Miller's Edge with Christian and Corey Miller from 12 until 2, and then we pick it up every day starting at 2 o'clock. We'll take your phone calls. We'll also take your tweets at Ryan C. Fowler. Wyatt's got a ton of content on Tide109.com, and I'm sure he'll be publishing more articles. So not only for that website, for the audio listen available, but there's also a lot of digital content. There's a lot of video. There's a lot of audio, and we're going to try to mix all that in as now spring football, it's the 4th day in a row. It is fall football. There's nothing to do with spring. The flowers are not blooming. It is fall football. We're now 31 days away. And like I said, we'll share some thoughts. I know that Caden Proctor has been a lot of topics of conversation, kind of working his way back into that left tackle role. We'll kind of discuss that with some Kalen DeBoer audio and a lot more. As we continue, Aaron Torres, Ricky Henderson spot. He joins us next. T-Town, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
Now, this hour's West Alabama real-time news update from the Tuscaloosa Thread Newsroom.
Heat advisories in effect for all of West Alabama until 9 tomorrow night. Heat indices could reach 109 degrees. Tuscaloosa District 1 City Councilman Matthew Wilson told the entire council last night the racial slur allegedly used by the owner of Nick's Filet House last weekend is not indicative of the racial attitudes for the whole city. And beginning December the 1st, Danny Wimmer Presents will replace Red Mountain Entertainment as a provider of acts for the Mercedes-Benz.
Wet, squeeze, and erase.
Stop spraying, start erasing, and clean with more magic than ever with Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
This afternoon, we've got a heat advisory till 9 p.m. Temperatures reaching around 95 today. High humidity. Take extra precautions if you're working outside. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, the low near 75. Just a small chance for passing shower or storm late tonight and early Thursday morning. Otherwise, tomorrow will be sunny with a high near 95. I'm meteorologist Bill Murray on Tide 100.9.
The best sports talk show in all of Alabama. The Game.
And a big good afternoon to you. Welcome into the game. T-Town Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide sports. First day of practice here on the campus of the University of Alabama. It does your heart good. I'm looking for interns. Anybody want to be an intern? Anybody want to be an intern? We'll take you to practice. We'll let you go to practice. That would be an incentive. Wyatt, I think we would get a lot of applications. We've already got several, but we're always looking to grow that internship. So always that would be an option. I mean, we may have a lot of callers that want to apply for internships once we put that out there. I can't take you to practice. I mean, I can every now and then, but
we can't pay you, but we'll let you go. But we'll let you watch practice.
We'll let you watch practice. We'll let you smell the dirt at the practice facility. Aaron Torres, he can apply for an internship. We would accept him. He would be a first ballot guy. Aaron Torres, Fox Sports national analyst. Torres, how are you, my friend? Welcome into the game in Tuscaloosa.
I'm good. What time do you have to get up today to get over to practice?
Well,
crack of dawn.
Well, see, I had to get up. I got an hour yoga class that I go to every day.
Okay.
So, I had to do that.
That sounds made up. That sounds like it could be made up, but it also sounds like it might not be because I know you had some back issues before.
Me and yoga. I mean, could you imagine me the way that I look in yoga pants? No.
Well, you don't have to wear yoga pants to go to yoga, but no, please, for the love of God, don't ever put that image in my head ever again. It's like, like when a football player, gets a really bad injury and you're like, you never want to see that visual again. Yeah. Like, don't show the replay. That was just what happened in my head right there when you said that.
Well, I'm sorry. I apologize. So see if you can erase that if you can. We'll hit
try.
We'll hit
a lot of therapy.
The dump button, right?
Gonna have to call Mrs. Fowler for some therapy there. That one may take a few sessions. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Well, your wife's a therapist too, so she can erase that. She can erase that. But no, I mean we got up and got moving. I left the house about 8:15, 8:30, and made it in the building. And hey, practice is a morning practice. But Torres, you cover national college football. That is morning practice more the norm? Is afternoon practice more the norm? Just to the teams that you cover, because I know the NFL is all about the morning, but the teams that you've been a part of, is morning practice maybe more common than maybe what we think?
Yeah, I think like anything else, Ryan, listen, I think a lot of, coaches, especially, the younger guys is, the older guard kind of moves on its way out. I think the younger guys, listen, they're really receptive to new ideas and new information. I mean, this has kind of been a theme of what you and I have talked about with Kalen DeBoer. It's not an anti-Nick Saban thing to just say that, he was an older guy who was a little bit more set in his ways and, wasn't maybe as open to other ideas. Although Nick Saban's probably the exception because he's been so open to so many things, obviously, from a schematic standpoint with Lane Kiffin, et cetera. So maybe he's not the best example. But, yeah, no, I do feel like even just since the time that I started covering this sport probably about 10, 12 years ago, it used to, like I said, it just used to be a standard way of everyone did everything the same way. And I think different coaches, as I said, are open to different ideas in terms of practice, in terms of sleep, in terms of travel, in terms of nutrition. And this is a little bit of a trend that I have noticed here over the last, like I said, 5, 6, 7, 8 years as time has gone on.
Yeah, and so when you look at it, Alabama kind of sets the standard on a lot of different things, and a lot of people followed Nick Saban's lead because he had won 6 national titles in Tuscaloosa, the 7th at LSU. But, if he closed down practice, every other coach would close down practice. If he was rough on the media, then everybody else thought they could be rough on the media. I mean, it was just – he almost set the bar. It is now a shift back in the other way. I mean, it is now the access that we have been given. we've been told, hey, this is really the way it really is outside the real world. I mean, I know you guys have been Sabanized for 17 years, but, we do talk to coordinators and we do listen to assistant coaches, and players are made available. Now, they always made players available, but it was very, 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 very limited. Now we get a little bit more access, which is, as you and I like to talk about, we're the conduit between the fans and the university, or we hope we can be.
Well, and a couple things. I mean, first of all, when you're winning, the national championship essentially every year, it's like there doesn't have to be a message coming out of the building, because it's like, who cares what it is? It's like, well, we win everything every year anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But like, I think when I look at it, a couple things stand out in terms of the why. Is first off, I think it is, I look at it beyond just being good for the fans. I think it's good for the assistant coaches, too. I mean, how many guys from the Saban-Belichick tree have we seen get thrown into the fire as a head coach for the first time and just simply not be prepared? I mean, Jeremy Pruitt's the one that obviously comes to mind. But there are others, I think I can't think of everybody off the top of my head, Will Muschamp, et cetera, where they just, they were never expected to meet with the media. They were never expected to do a lot of other things outside of focus on football, and that's all well and good, but I think it hurt them in the long run. Well, the one thing I've learned from a distance with Kalen DeBoer, he wants these guys to have the experience so that, when they do get the opportunity, they'll be prepared, not just to be a head coach, but for all of the things that come with it. And then, too, listen, I think it's important that, being a head coach, there is a lot on your plate. And it's just one less thing that you have to do. It's a half an hour less that you have to carve out to walk to the media room, to spend 20 minutes with the media, to walk 10 minutes back. I mean, it sounds silly, but at this point in the evolution of college football, that half hour could probably be used more efficiently somewhere else. So, based on what you've told me, I don't get the impression that we'll never hear from Kalen DeBoer again. But I think outside of it being really good for the fans, I think it's good for the assistant coaches to get that experience. And then, as I said, Kalen DeBoer can focus on different things rather than always having to be the only voice that comes out of that building.
Torres, when you look at the top teams, and we could use this for basketball, we could use it for football, but let's say you just put 5, 6 of the top 10, the teams in a bubble, and you could pull them out, or a basket, and you could pull them out, and you could say, okay, this is the team. How much do you think is the psychological side of things, the way that, the confidence, the momentum? If you've got it, keep it. If you don't, try to find a way to find it. But it seems like this attitude of this football team, I've covered a lot of football around here. I've never covered one that had this type of attitude. I mean, this team is hungry, but they've got this vibe that I just haven't seen around here in a long, long time. And, they've got the talent. I mean, this is not a team, and I know a lot of people are kind of putting them, outside of that top 5. I don't cover everybody else, so I don't really have anything to compare to, but this is a pretty talented football team in Tuscaloosa. I think a lot of people are overlooking this team.
No, I agree 100%. And listen, in life, right, like we do this thing in our current society, like we never just enjoy the thing that we have in front of us. It's always got to be what's next. Oh, this guy's next, this girl's next, this is next. And it's like, sometimes it's okay to just appreciate Tom Brady without trying to find the next GOAT to follow him, or, whoever. And I like you said, I kind of apply it to sports. I can't speak to other things, but I think there's something to that where, listen, Kalen DeBoer is going to face his challenges. I mean, the schedule is really, really, really tough. But the schedule, one, is tough for everybody in the SEC, so that's one. But two, like you said, I mean, Brian, we've been talking about this since February.
We have.
But no. But in all seriousness, this is a guy that's coming off a 14-1 season, beat Oregon twice, beat Texas, won the toughest Pac-12 that ever existed. And guess what? This is going to be the most talented roster that he's ever had. And I think there's something to that. I think there's something also to this, is everybody looks at Jalen Milroe as this huge question mark. Go back and look at Michael Penix's stats when Kalen DeBoer was not his offensive coordinator. Now, some of it was injury. He obviously didn't have a lot of talent around him at Indiana. But Jalen Milroe was a guy that completed 66% of his passes last year. Now, I know the offense was kind of schemed around his strengths and weaknesses, which, by the way, that's what a good offensive coordinator does.
Amen.
But exactly. But I'm with you. And I would just wrap by saying this. I know I'm bringing up a lot of the talking points that you and I have hit on all spring and summer long, but I think everybody's just chalking up all of these games as losses. Well, I mean, it's at LSU, and it's at Oklahoma, and it's Georgia at home, and it's like, yeah, Georgia's going to be really tough, but that game's at home. LSU's on the road, but LSU's got a new starting quarterback. Their defense was pretty bad. Tennessee's got a new starting quarterback from a season ago. So that's the thing that's kind of surprising to me is that when you try to tear down Alabama, okay, they have their problems, but every team has their problems. I mean, even Georgia, who I think is probably the most talented team in the country. I mean, they can't keep their players off the police blotter. So I mean, everybody's got problems somewhere. And I think that Alabama's problems relative to everybody else's are maybe a little bit smaller than people have made it out to be.
All right, let's go back because you're on the national side of things. You do national, which I have so much respect for what you guys are able to do because I cover one team and I'm busy enough. I don't know how you guys pull it off. And I know that there's attention to detail that we're able to give the local teams at, the national guys. But when I look back at your lineup on Fox Sports Radio, this Georgia situation was a part of your headlines that you guys were going to discuss. Is it really that big of a conversation on the national level? I mean, I know we pick on Georgia because we're rivals, or potentially, the rivalry's really grown since Kirby Smart arrived over there. But what's happened over in Athens grabbed you guys because I saw it part of your lineup on Fox Sports Radio.
Yeah, I don't ever speak for how anybody else does their shows, not only at my place but anywhere else. I don't think it was a big enough story. I think when you really pull back the layer, and listen, I get a few things, is the arrest on Friday for some very serious charges is not the same as speeding. But I would also say, because a lot of the arrests that have happened are driving-related offenses, but there's a couple variables here. One, there was a death in the Georgia community and a death of a Georgia football player because of these driving-related incidences. And two, while it's not the most heinous crime that's ever been committed, I will readily admit I have gotten tickets for speeding. You are putting your community at a little bit of a jeopardy or a livelihood or whatever when you're repeatedly doing it over and over and over again. And so, listen, I have zero sympathy for Kirby Smart because I went through this on my podcast on Monday. I encourage people to go back and listen if they haven't. But you go through some of the arrests from last offseason. I keep hearing from all these people that do cover this story, Kirby's doing everything he can. Well, no, he's not, because these guys aren't getting suspended for games. And again, I'm not saying you throw a guy off the team and take away his scholarship because he was going 82 and a 65. But at some point, you have to set the tone that this behavior is unacceptable. And if bringing players in for early morning workouts and if you're finding them through the collective and that's not working, well, then take away the most important thing to them, and that's playing time. So I'm tired of hearing that Kirby's doing everything he can. I understand the nuance that some of these arrests aren't the most heinous crimes that have ever been committed. But if anything, Ryan, I don't think enough people are talking about it. And I think it's a shame, honestly, to be perfectly honest.
It's almost like they've given him a free pass.
And that was – I don't mean to cut you off, but I was going to make that exact point. So the number of total arrests according to Athens Online, which is a newspaper that covers Athens, Georgia, the Bulldogs. So this is not Aaron Torres pulling numbers out of the air. For some reason these numbers are inaccurate, blame Athens Online. The number they put since the death of the young lady that worked on the team and the football player, there have been 29 arrests of Georgia football players. Now, again, a lot of them are speeding. A lot of them are minor tickets. We're not talking about serious criminal offenses here. But I said it on my show is, it seems like everything that Dabo Swinney says comes under fire and he's the worst human being ever. You imagine if he had 29 players arrested in an 18-month period? What about Lincoln Riley? Oh, my goodness, Lincoln Riley says the sky is blue and people get mad about it. What about Deion Sanders? Every word that comes out of his mouth is criticized. So that was the point, and I cut you off right in the middle of it. But for whatever reason, it feels like he's protected, whether he's media savvy, whether he's friendly with the media that matter. I don't know. But one thing about me, Ryan, and I think I say it all the time, I think it's why your audience has a respect for me, is that I always tell it like it is. I don't pull any punches, and I go back to, I've said it a million times, was critical of Nate Oates when Nate Oates, with that Brandon Miller situation, was critical of Nick Saban with Jermaine Burton a few years ago. So I don't, protect anybody or don't call out people when I think that they're not doing their jobs to the best of their ability. But for some reason, there's a lot of people in our industry that don't want to seem to call out Kirby Smart for whatever reason.
Yeah, it does seem that way. It does seem that way, Torres, and that'll be one of the things I'm sure that we'll dive into. And, hopefully they clean it up for, the safety of those players over there. But, also from a recruiting standpoint, if you're a parent, that has to weigh on your mind, does it not? I mean, because you see bad behavior, you're going, at some point that impacts recruiting. I don't see how it can't.
I think everything impacts recruiting. Yeah. No, I don't think there's any doubt. I'd be curious if there was a, positive, if there's any proof of correlation. But I would be curious. And I think the other thing that's frustrating too from the outside with the Georgia thing, this isn't a 17-year-old freshman that just got some NIL money for the first time and doesn't know how to spend it and buy, buys a car or whatever. I mean, one of the guys that was arrested for speeding a few weeks ago is a 3-year starter linebacker. Another one is their high-profile transfer from Florida who's played 4 years of college football. So that's the other part, is that it's not just the young guys, inexperienced, first time, whatever. These are the leaders of that team. And so, again, it goes to what I said. Everybody's got some sort of issue, and Georgia certainly has a big one on their hands with what's going on over there.
Aaron Torres, Fox Sports national analyst. Aaron Torres Sports Podcast, one of the top sports podcasts in the entire country. You can find it right there where you get your podcast, and also connect with Aaron at Aaron_Torres, and then Torres on Bama. Great account covering the University of Alabama. You've got a great team there that combines a lot of audio, a lot of video, and a lot of pictures and things around this fall camp as we are now into practice number 1. Torres, I always appreciate you, man, being in this Ricky Henderson spot. We always have a great show when Torres leads us out of the gate. It's like getting on base. That's your job. You've done that today.
There you go. Thank you. Well, all I got to say, I appreciate you having me as always. RTR, roll Torres, roll. Thank you for having me.
Roll Torres, roll. RTR. Torres, appreciate you, man. Have a great rest of your afternoon, man.
All right. Talk soon, Ryan. Thank you.
Thank you. Aaron Torres helping us out there. A lot of fun. A bit of dive into it. Practice number 1. K1 DeBoer audio. We're going to deliver that to you. And we're going to kind of mix in a lot of this as we travel throughout. We'll get to Greg in Athens. We'll take your phone calls. We'll get your reaction to a lot of things. But a lot of excitement around the campus of the University of Alabama. We'll amp that up. Coming up next, T-Town, Tide, 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
To them each and every time they come and visit us.
The sense of pride that we have in the quality, the consistency of our food carries over to everything we do in the stores. That's Taco God.
A national championship team covering a national championship team.
We're going to work in the K1 DeBoer opening comments coming up here in just a couple of seconds. I do want to tell you it's Rumsey Environmental. It's a one-stop shop serving West Alabama for all of your waste removal needs. When you have to know it's being done right, that's the time to call Rumsey Environmental, 205-248-0002, 205-248-0002. Let's go to K1 DeBoer's opening comments. When you look back following practice around 11:30 this morning, K1 DeBoer did not stand at that podium. He stood in the indoor practice facility, a little bit cooler than outside, just a little bit. Nice, cozy environment. And this is how K1 DeBoer responded, his opening comments following practice, just for a couple of minutes here.
Still good morning, right? Yeah. Good morning. I think just like most first practices, great energy. Guys were excited to get out there. I can't remember really many times where you had to coach up the excitement and passion. That was all there. These guys have worked hard. We're excited about practice 1. So, always going to be far from perfect. But each side had its moments and, made plays, and that's what you want. I love being the head coach in those times, right? Because the assistants, they want every play to be perfect. And so, they win half, they lose half the time. I get to win all the time because I just choose the side that wins, on that play. But no, it's good having that give and take. And, I felt that's what we had. And, just welcome to the South, right? For me in particular, just practice and a little bit warmer than the rest of the summer. It hit us here with practice one. So guys grinded through it. I thought actually they kept getting stronger as the day went on, which is what you want to see. And, they kept their spirits high through the very last rep.
That is Kalen DeBoer opening comments, and we're going to react to that. Like I said, the offensive line, one of the things that I had kind of watched a little bit, kind of observed when you look at the practice side of things, that Caden Proctor, we have heard a lot about it. We've seen some photos, but we get a chance to see it for ourselves. That is one of the things that really jumped out to me, no doubt. And I even think Kalen DeBoer used a little bit later in the press conference, he used the word lean with Caden Proctor. Has Caden Proctor ever been used with those type of verbiage? I don't think so. I mean, you got to go back to like kindergarten, first grade, second grade. Lean. He used the word lean to describe Caden Proctor. That is a good thing. That offensive line, as he said, when you look at it, probably need to anchor that unit. That offensive line, it starts right there, and we'll dive into that coming up in a couple of minutes. Let's go to Greg in Athens. Greg, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
Hey, Ryan, thank you for taking my call. All is well, and I think that, the advent of fall practice means we're that much closer to the beginning of the football season and seeing what the finished product is going to look like as we embark on a new season, on a new era with a new coach. And I've been away for a while. We've had in-service and a lot of, training throughout the week. But, I've seen a lot on social media about the fact that a couple of guys flipped from Alabama to Auburn. And here's the deal. Those guys have been flipping all year. And at one point of the day, you just kind of flip your cap and say, good job. And, where I would be concerned as an Alabama fan is if this were not a one-off situation, but a 3 or 4 year in a row kind of deal. And so I think there's a couple of guys on the top 10 that Alabama wanted to get. And, no one's put pen to paper yet. So as much as the Barners want to celebrate their achievements so far, if you want to call it that, nothing's actually been done other than just the declaration. So anyways, I'm excited to see what the offensive line looks like and especially what the secondary is going to be fleshed out about, and interested to get your thoughts on those two.
Well, going back to recruiting just for a couple of minutes, okay? And you could say the same thing when Alabama was grabbing all that momentum. If you remember when I would say it's June. You definitely, I'd rather be first than last. You don't want to be last and no momentum. And I also think that coaches, they calculate these commitments. They put them in certain situations where, they can get the most gain, right? The excitement level, the attention. And let's not kid ourselves. Auburn set up that weekend. They did, but you got to have the commitments to be able to set it up. So you no doubt, as you said, tip your cap to them. But if you're the Auburn Tigers, you needed it more than Alabama needed it. Because that program has no energy right now. There's not a lot around that program. And some of that is because Hugh Freeze has not, that honeymoon kind of got rough, right? I mean, it was not a losing season year number one. Who predicted that? And to continue that losing trend. I mean, now they've had 3 losing seasons in a row. You go back to the 4th season. So it's been very well documented around Auburn. But when you look at Las Vegas has them at 7 wins on the over-under. 7 wins. So that would be barely above a winning season. 1 game, 7-5. So they've got them at 7 wins on the over-under. Now, they can always underestimate it. They can also overestimate. They are putting all of their eggs in one basket, and that basket is Peyton Thorne. We'll see.
Well, here's the thing with Peyton Thorne. I don't think he's going to be Joe Burrow year 2 at LSU. He is. I think the Peyton Thorne you've seen, and he's played at least 3 years, if not more, of football at the D1 level. What you have seen is what he is. The other thing is that not everybody who is in the top 10 athletes in Alabama in any recruiting season doesn't mean at Alabama. wants, all 10 of those people. 1, do they fit the system? 2, do they fit a need? And 3, based on their character and their grades and their work ethic, do they fit what Alabama wants? Because there have been guys that, 1 or 2 at the top that Alabama's missed out on, that you would have liked to see play for Alabama, but a majority of them are not necessarily in that category. The other thing that you mentioned is wins. If Auburn doesn't get 8 regular season wins, they're going to be tore up over there.
They will. No, I mean, and that mindset right now, I mean, they need something happening this weekend, for their perspective, maybe a boost of their confidence, because right now that program, I look at the pecking order of the SEC. Oklahoma, Texas coming in. I don't care if you wear the blue and orange in your evening pajamas, okay? You cannot look at me with a straight face and say, well, our program is better than Texas and Oklahoma. You drop back 2 different spots. I don't care how you spin it. Even as much as we love to take shots at Texas, that program is better than the Auburn Tigers. That's where it is. So, yeah. But hey, going back to Alabama, I think my big takeaway is just the overall energy at practice. It's off the charts. It doesn't feel like a 9 a.m. practice. Greg, you teach high school. These kids are a little bit older than high school kids. What's your 8 o'clock class in the morning like?
It's like teaching a bunch of tree sloths.
That was my point. Yeah. That was my point. When you go to practice, it's not just the music. I mean, it's the entire vibe when you walk in there. I mean, it's an energized place. I think that's sets by the coaches. You see Jamarcus Shepard flying around, doing push-ups when, guys, and this is what we see in the spring. I didn't see it today, but, when a guy would drop a ball, he'd do push-ups. He'd do push-ups for the team. He's kind of educated us a couple of months ago on maybe some of these different things that they do, but it's pretty awesome when you listen back. And Kane Womack out there, I think that's a danger for his health. But wearing a full sweatsuit, Well, there are safer ways to get there, but if that's the way you want to go, then go for it. But I'm just excited. I'm ready for football and ready for everybody to come in and look forward to more reports from you. You guys have a great day and Roll Tide. Hey, thank you, Greg. We appreciate that. 205-342-9904. 205-342-9904. We'll get Kalen DeBoer talking about Caden Proctor, and you'll hear that coming up here in just a couple of minutes. I do want to remind you about R&R Cigars, 2703 6th Street, 2703 6th Street in downtown Tuscaloosa. Relax and recharge. Big HD TVs, home theater seating. You'll find it 2703 6th Street, R&R Cigars. We'll come back. We'll take phone calls. We'll talk to Alan Scarborough coming up. He covers the University of Alabama for 247 Sports. We'll talk with him in about 45 minutes. We'll take Stephen in Raleigh, and we have 2 lines available if you want to jump in. 205-342-9904. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
Company on Saturday, August 24th. Doors open up at 3 p.m. Tickets are $10 with proceeds benefiting the Tuscaloosa Metro Animal Shelter. Learn more at ashfest.org.
Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. Call Paul at 205-331-6823. Custom curbing for your home or business. Do away with those plastic individual stone borders. Go for that more permanent, decorative concrete border. No more grass growing between those individual stones. Cleaner to edge to maintain. They're willing to travel, not just here in Tuscaloosa, but also in our neighboring states as well over in Mississippi. Many colors and choices. They'll customize for that individual taste and house. Give them a call at 205-331-6823. You could also go to their Facebook account. Find their page. You can see exactly what the videos. They came out, did a free quote. Paul gave me an evaluation. Give them a call, 205-331-6823. Free quotes and evaluation. It is Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. Call Paul at 205-331-6823.
where the legends of Alabama football hang out.
McCarron, draw play. Lacey, huge hole.
Touchdown. Yep.
Alabama. Turn off the lights and I'll glow to the extreme. I rock a mic like
Eatery, if you're looking for a great sandwich, the Nukes Q sandwich, the #1 sandwich across the franchise with that great white barbecue sauce, the French dip sandwich. You can find the chicken salad, the pimento cheese. You can do a variety. You can mix that up. You can do half sandwich, half salad, full sandwich if you're really, really hungry. The California-style pizzas are a great option. The 12-layer cakes, 205 University Boulevard, 205-758-2455. Let's go to Kalen DeBoer talking about Caden Proctor, because I think this is the comment where he made the lean comment. Listen closely as he describes Caden Proctor and having him back in Tuscaloosa.
I don't have a huge, understanding of what he was a year ago other than watching on film, but it feels like he's in really good shape and lean. When you ask people who would have an understanding, Coach Ballou and so forth, it'd be nothing but positive about the progress he's made. Strength and explosive numbers I know are up. That's facts. That's real. And then also just the way his body looks, leaner. I mean, he's just so dense and just got so much mass. He's going to be big no matter what. So, loved his demeanor out there. It's good to have him back. Good to have him here.
So that is the conversation when you listen in lean, Kalen DeBoer, talking about Caden Proctor, lean.
If that man is lean, then I am nothing but skin and bones.
But compared to what he was last year, it is lean. I would give anything to know what he played at. They list him on the roster that we were handed out this morning, 360. I'd have to see it. I still don't think he's 360. Look at it and see. But they also have Tyler Booker at 352. I think on there. Look at that roster that we were given out. I think it says 360 on Caden Proctor and 352 on Tyler Booker. Does it not? Is that?
There's no way those numbers are right. They have not updated. They had. I don't think that.
Yeah, because Tyler Booker told us he was in the 330s. So yeah, that's probably an updated or maybe one that the numbers are all we care about, the numerical order there. But let's go to Stephen in Raleigh, North Carolina. Stephen, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
All is well, Ryan. I'm pretty sure that 360 is what he was listed at last year.
Yeah, I think it was too, and I bet you he was 375, 380. I'm telling you.
I bet he was 390.
He may have been. I mean, listen, when those pants are swelling to the level that you can't even move. I guess my question is, whose idea was it to be that large on that offensive line?
I have to think it was the offensive line coach's decision is what I would have to believe. Coach Cap on an interview on your station with you earlier a month or two ago, he said you want them as big as they can be in order to operate at an efficient manner. I'm paraphrasing there, and I just think that Coach Wolf thought the bigger the better. But I question a lot of decisions by Coach Wolf and over the last few years. So,
I think we were sold a bill of goods on Coach Wolf that never delivered. I mean, we were all, oh man, I can't wait. I mean, this guy's going to, because we were all stuck on Doug Marrone. Doug Marrone was not a great offensive line coach. And you can go back. When's the last time that we were physical in the point of attack, in the trenches? 2020?
Yes and no. I would say more so in the 2016, 2017 time frame.
Did you really have to go back that length of time? Wow. I mean,
2020 we were so dynamic offensively, and we had Najee Harris, we had Devontae Smith, we just had a plethora of weapons that you didn't really pay attention to how efficient the offensive line was. You kind of looked at the eye candy and just saw all those weapons. Yeah, Ryan, I would go back that far. Looking at the practice material that your station put out there today, I'm looking at, was Parker Brailsford out there? I didn't see him all summer at any of the offensive line camps with the guys, so I'm sure he was there. I think Wyatt answered that offline for me.
Yeah, he was.
And, another observation was that Alex, the quarterback that came with
Austin Mack.
Kalen, for Austin Mack. Austin Mack was technically with the third string running back. I found that intriguing, that he was ahead of the redshirt freshman. That I'm not thinking of his name right now.
Okay, hold on. You're saying third string quarterback. You said running back. Okay,
yes.
Okay.
Yes, but he was with in the pairings. We know who the third string running back is.
Well, let me say this, okay? And we were kind of warned a little bit about this. Don't play too much into these depth rotations. I know Coach Saban was anti-depth chart. I don't think Kalen DeBoer is going to be anti-depth chart. I think at some point we'll probably actually be given a depth chart, and that's maybe just me being wishful thinking. But I also I don't pay too much close. I can come on here today and I can tell you that Caden Proctor was working with some of the twos, but is that really with the twos? I mean, it would take a crazy hypothesis for him not to be the starting left tackle. But he's got to work his way through it. But to go back to Austin Mack, I know the staff is very confident in Austin Mack, highly confident in Austin Mack. This young man came out of high school early, reclassified, did the same thing that Ryan Williams did, but he's learning the hardest position on the football field. He knows the system. But I also look at Dylan Lonergan this morning. I watched him a couple of minutes. That young man's talented. I think he could play at some places. Like, we're taking shots at Auburn, and we have been. Take Dylan Lonergan out of this system. Put him across the state. Wyatt, you jump in with this too. You think Dylan Lonergan could be the starting quarterback across the state over Peyton Thorne?
He scares me a lot more in that position than Peyton Thorne does.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I look at Dylan Lonergan and I'm going, man, that is one talented quarterback room. If he's my fourth string guy or third string guy, that is a talented, deep quarterback room.
Ryan, I really think that Auburn thought that Ty Simpson was going to transfer to them after Nick Saban left.
And they sat pat. And he had no interest. He may have played them. I don't know, but he had no interest.
Yeah, I don't know if he had any interest. I don't know if he told them anything. But you heard the rumors, the same rumors I did. T-Town Tony came on your show when he filled in one time and said he thought they was going to go over.
I think it was Brett Gardner.
Oh, Brett Gardner.
Yeah, he told me he was going to say that, and I know Brett was hearing some stuff. There was some stuff out there. There was a lot of smoke. Now, I never heard anything that was reliable, and I was talking to some pretty close people to Ty. I never heard that, but I did hear the rumors. I'm not going to deny that, but I'm telling you, if you took Dylan Lonergan away from this Alabama football team and put him across the state, I think he would beat out Peyton Thorne. I think that's how deep this quarterback room is. So regardless, third, fourth string, they've got a talented quarterback room, and they're going to push one another. I think it's going to be better for all those guys.
It was really good to see Coach DeBoer working with the quarterbacks and the wide receivers.
Wow.
Kind of the way Coach Saban did with the DBs. You can tell that Coach DeBoer is taking ownership of those wide receivers and quarterbacks.
Well, why not? He was an All-American wide receiver. You know what I mean? He's a guy that understands that position. But it's not Coach Saban understanding the defensive backs. It's what he played at Kent State and really stuck with a lot of his system. But Kalen was after not just the quarterbacks. He was, as you said, the wide receivers. He was a defensive back. He was an edge guy. He was trying to get the quarterback to react with pressure. And they were in more of a, not one-on-one drills, just more of position drills. That's one of the things that, jumped out to me.
I saw in your video Coach DeBoer running at the quarterback a few times like he was a defensive end.
Yeah, he's an edge guy. Hey, we might put some pads on him. We need someone to get after the quarterback.
Is Kane Womack trying out for Big Al this fall? It looks like what he's training for. Man. In that big old
well, and
suit he had on.
Stephen, I kid you not, okay? This is no lie. There's no way that I could have done a radio show after going to practice. I looked like I had taken a shower this morning. It was glory. It was warm, and for him out there in a sweatshirt and the way that no sir. They would have.
He's doing like the old wrestlers used to dump weight, when it's time to get ready. They'd wear those freaking aluminum foil suits practically.
And we will talk
in high school.
We will talk with him. I think offense is tomorrow. And then I think defense. Yeah, defense is tomorrow. Defense is tomorrow. So we'll get a chance to ask him about what's the purpose here, Coach. You got an IV tied into one of those arms that you're pumping yourself full of fluid. So I'm sure they probably had to give a few coaches some IVs after today, because some of those guys are not accustomed to 105 on the heat index side of things. I think Kalen said it out at Dallas. How you like the South? He goes, I sweat a lot.
I heard him. Well, roll Tide, Ryan. I appreciate, look forward to all the coverage you guys are going to do.
Hey, right back to you, man. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. We'll take your calls, 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. Kalen DeBoer tells you about Ryan Williams next, and we'll take your calls right here on The Game. T-Town Tide 100.9, 1230 WT. Home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
In Alabama, Julio Jones Kia off Greensboro Ave. Stop in today or visit us online at buyfromjulio.com.
Buyers must have qualified credit. Not all buyers will qualify.
The Pharmacy at Midtown with TJ Thomas, 205-752-0627. PharmacyMidtown.com. Don't forget about the retail side of the Pharmacy at Midtown. It's an independent-owned pharmacy specializing in walk-in prescriptions, medicine-on-time packaging, which increases that independence. Compounding needs. The only sterile compounding facility in Tuscaloosa is the Pharmacy at Midtown with TJ Thomas. DanielMooreArt.com. Daniel Moore Art celebrates those special moments of Alabama football history, like 4th and 31, Jalen Milroe connected with Isaiah Bond, or the legacy continues with all the great memories of Alabama Crimson Tide football. You can celebrate Coach Saban with a Nick Saban print, the limited edition canvas. You could also find many of the great mini prints. Celebrate that special Alabama fan in your life. DanielMooreArt.com. The Game. That's the code word for a significant discount. And when you check out, tell them that you heard about it right here on The Game. DanielMooreArt.com. Dos Amigos, Highway 69 in the new Publix Shopping Center. 11 a.m. opening, 10 p.m. Friday and Saturday closing at 9, Sunday through Thursday. Some great Mexican cuisine, the great fajitas, the great desserts, the great lunch specials. You'll find it at Dos Amigos in the Publix Shopping Center on Highway 69. Takeout orders always an option at 205-737-7344, 205-737-7344. Dos Amigos.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
This afternoon, we've got a heat advisory till 9 p.m. Temperatures reaching around 95 today. High humidity. Take extra precautions if you're working outside. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, the low near 75. Just a small chance of a passing shower or storm late tonight and early Thursday morning. Otherwise, tomorrow will be sunny with a high near 95. I'm meteorologist Bill Murray on Tide 100.9.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Dan Byer.
Some breaking news from the Paris Olympics as Katie Ledecky has broken another record. Today, an Olympic record in the 1,500-meter freestyle. That gives her the goal, the 8th of her career. That ties Jenny Thompson for the most swimming golds in U.S. history. For Ledecky, it's her 12th medal overall. She wins gold in the 1,500-meter freestyle. U.S. men's basketball team up on South Sudan, 55-36, nearing halftime of pool play action in Paris. Earlier today, Serbia dropped Puerto Rico 107-66. In women's soccer, the United States advanced. They'll face Japan in the quarterfinals after a 2-1 win over Australia today. And an upset in women's tennis in doubles. Coco Gauff and Jessica Pegula were upset today, so the Americans will go home. In men's doubles, Rafael Nadal and Carlos Alcaraz lost to the American team of Austin Krajicek and Rajiv Ram. Orioles beat the Blue Jays today 10-4. Jackson Holliday, a grand slam for his first career home run.
Any way you want it, the way you need it, any way you want it. She loves to laugh, she loves to sing, she does everything. She loves to move, she loves to groove, she loves a lot of things. All night, oh, every night. So hold tight.
get Kalen DeBoer talking about Ryan Williams, but also one of the things that he said was when you look back at Jaheim Otis, which Jaheim battled so many different injuries last year. I mean, it was not just one injury. It was multiple groups of injuries. I know he had dealt with some lower extremities, upper extremities, a combination of the two. Jaheim Otis looks like he's ready, and it will be a money year from him from a defensive lineman because they don't grow them like that. And I think about pressure. Where can Alabama get pressure? Possibly up the middle. So that'll be one of the topics. We'll get to Alan Scarborough coming up in about 25 minutes. We're always powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota. TuscaloosaToyota.com. Tuscaloosa Toyota, the great dealership right there on Skyline Boulevard and online at TuscaloosaToyota.com. Today will be the final day that we're going to be offering those interest specials unless they are extended. We'll be monitoring that. And I'll get that word following the show. But we know that they are guaranteed for today, 1.99 APR for 36. The Camry, 3.99 APR for 36. And that is the 2025 Camry. And you've got the mileage at around 53 miles per gallon. That is impressive for that 2025 Highlander. We have been working on a lot of content. We've got a lot of audio. But let's start with Kalen DeBoer talking about Ryan Williams. The freshman sensation, a guy that should be playing high school football. He was the Mr. Alabama in the state of Alabama. Dos, going for 3 times, which had never been accomplished here in the great state of Alabama. Ryan Williams from Saralands on the football field, and all I can say is smooth, getting in and out very, very quickly. Here's how the head football coach at the University of Alabama described Ryan Williams.
Yeah, consistently just in this trajectory on up. I don't need him day one. I mean, you want every play to be amazing, explosive, but you just want him lining up right, doing the fundamental things, making the easy plays. And then, because of his ability, the big ones will come. So, when your route's on air, run a good route, catch the ball, accelerate out with good ball security, and you find those consistent, fundamentals and, you stack days and, those plays that we know, he'll be capable of making will happen.
So that is Ryan Williams, and I think that's one of the topics that you look back at Ryan Williams. I know I was out there. We've shared some of that video. We put some of that on our Twitter account, our Facebook account, so you can connect with us and do connect with everything that we're able to offer because the amount of content goes up and the access that we have. We'll do these live. And we're trying to learn exactly what all it was. Were you guys able to get Kalen DeBoer live? It was kind of a little bit of a challenge, I know, because
we were not, unfortunately. We're working with some other show hosts on that to get that orchestrated, though.
Yeah, because that one's going to be a little bit of a challenge because it's not streamed. And I did ask a couple of different folks, but that Zoom component that we've always been accustomed to getting, and I plan on carrying that, so maybe I can help out in some capacity there. But we were able to put it up on the Facebook account, and we'll play some of the audio as we travel throughout the afternoon. 205-342-9904, always powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota. 31 days away, brought to you by Alabama Credit Union. Let's go to Marty in Arkansas. Marty, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
All is well, Ryan. At least he's not the only one that wears a long sweatshirt and a long pair of sweatpants when he goes running.
Do you do that?
Yeah, we do that too. 9 o'clock in the morning, 3 days a week. We put on our Alabama sweatpants and our Alabama long sleeve sweatshirt and go for a 3 mile. We jog around the corners and walk around the long part of it and go for 3 miles. But we got our water there, too, so, yep.
Hey, Alabama just got another 2027 commitment. Viger Edge, Jabarius Garber, I think is the way you say that, according to Andrew Bone.
Well, we're going to get a bunch
has committed to the University of Alabama.
Ron, I'm glad someone else brought up that thing about Kirby. Tuesday, I put on here it's on your, I don't know if you got it or not. But I ate lunch with 2 Georgia pretty big alumni and boosters. They're pretty high up. And they didn't, I had on my Alabama stuff, and they were pretty happy. But we talked about Kirby and what's happening over there. They said if Kirby didn't have the record that he has, he'd already be gone. There's been some rumblings on some of the boosters that if Kirby don't get it under control, it don't matter if winning ain't everything anymore, he said. It's taking care. He goes, losing the program, and this one booster says, you lose the program, just like Shula did, you end up with losses. And that's why I think he ends up with 3 or 4 losses this year, because that program is not going to be focused. That's my thought.
But also going back to what Aaron Torres said a couple of minutes ago, and I kind of set him up with that, is Kirby seems to be getting all these free passes. Why?
Because he's won. Just like what Lombardi said, winning's everything. And that's what it is over there. They're winning everything, and they don't care about it right now. But it's going to come back and bite them in the butt, just like those 2 boosters said. People are getting, like he said, since the death, they've had 29 more than that. And one of the guys says there's more than that going on over there than getting reported. But, that's why he's getting the free passes. Like the guy said, if he was 7-5 or 8-4, like Mark Richt was, he'd be out the door. But he's got 2 national championships under his belt. And if Alabama didn't stop him, he had 3 under his belt. And that's what's saving him.
Well, maybe that gets him a free pass.
I didn't mean to get on the other school, because we're talking about Alabama. Remember the goal, and remember, Ryan, tomorrow's August 1st. If we're going to do this thing, we've got to do it in August. If we don't do it in August, let's plan on doing it the first 5 week of the season after we beat 3-0, and the big old bad Bulldogs are coming over, and we're sending them back home puppies.
Well, that'd be a big win. It would be a launching pad if you're able to make it.
That's going to be the launching pad, Ryan, and then we're off and running. We're off and running then. And then Missouri. Ryan, how many? Let me ask you this, so I have some ammunition for my Razorback buddies tomorrow. How many wins does Las Vegas have the Razorbacks winning? Over and under?
I don't have it right here in front of me, but I can find it.
Okay. Is it 7 or 6?
No, Lord, no. No. It's. I want to say it was 5.
Oh my. Okay, I got. Text me that when you get a chance after the show, because 3 of them said they're gonna go 10-2.
Well, I've got a lot of things going through my mind. I promise you, Arkansas is not one of them. But let me.
Yeah, I know. I just got to have some ammunition for tomorrow.
Well, talk about Alabama. I mean, listen.
I do, but they knock me down. They always not. Oh, how bad we cheated with Bear? How bad we cheat with Saban? We got more money than. I said no, we don't. And I always put on my one that has an A on my shoulder and A on my chest, and I said, you know why that goes crooked? Because we won so many national championships that they had to move to A because it couldn't stand up straight no more. That's what I told them last time.
All right, so I just looked. It's 5.5. So this is the way it ranks in the SEC. You got Vanderbilt at 2.5, Mississippi State at 4.5, Arkansas at 5.5, South Carolina, Corey, cut off the radio, 5.5, Florida 5.5, Kentucky 6.5. Auburn is actually up 0.5. They're at 7.5. Oklahoma 7.5. A&M's 8.5. The Missouri Tigers 9.5. Tennessee 9.5. LSU 9.5. Alabama 9.5. Ole Miss 9.5. Texas 10.5, and Georgia 10.5. So basically, nobody's with an undefeated season. They don't think.
No. I don't think anybody's going to go undefeated. I just think somewhere along everyone. But I mean, you just can't have everybody at 10. There's going to be some there that I don't think will win 10 games, and some that will surprise you. But Ryan, have a good day. Good reporting. Just make sure you have your water bottle every morning. That's all, and you can get back to Coker and and get your shower.
Yeah, because that may be one of those things. I may join a gym just to have a shower because that might be an option. What is it down the road here? There's a couple of different places that maybe that might be.
That'd probably be an option. See, that's like us. After us, We jog around right there at the community center.
Now, according to the global warming, am I allowed to take more than one shower a day? Will that hurt global warming if I do that?
No. You know what's hurt global warming?
What is it?
More paved roads.
Okay.
More paved roads, and the heat stays on there. That's what it is, Ryan. It's just like you said about road construction. There are 20 guys out there, and one's working, and the other's standing around.
I don't even see the one guy working. We go through the construction zones here in Tuscaloosa. It's kind of like a trend. I don't ever see construction workers. McFarland's a major waste.
Yeah, I know it is. All right, Ryan, I'll tell you what. Just remember to go National Championships this year. Me and you down at Walmart taking our picture. And work on the callers about getting this thing together, all right? You're the head honcho. And if Kim's still in town, we need to invite her.
Kim is still, she's not in town in Tuscaloosa, but I believe she's still living up in Birmingham. So, no doubt.
Well, tell her that Massachusetts taxes got her. That's why she had to come back.
Well, I would imagine so. I don't know what Massachusetts taxes are, but I would imagine they're probably
highest in the country. It's called Massachusetts.
Really?
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just taught me something, Marty. I appreciate that.
Well, we lived there, and we got out of there real quick, and that's what Dad always complained about.
Taxes?
But they're the highest in the country. Okay. It's a nice place to visit, but it costs. But everything costs.
You know, thank you. I flew in.
I'll yell at you later. We're getting off on the wrong team. Roll Tide.
Gotcha.
And bring us a good report tomorrow.
Okay. I will certainly do my best. I will do everything in my power to do that. We're going to get to the adjustment on the morning practices. Kalen DeBoer talks about that. But Jaheim Otis, there is a lot of things when you talk about it. And we'll dive into it coming up here in just a couple of minutes. We'll talk to Alex Scarborough. We'll talk about practice and a lot more with him. Bama 247 Sports, 247 Sports. Alex Scarborough coming up in about 15 minutes. T-Town Tide. 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
Now, this hour's West Alabama real-time news update from the Tuscaloosa Thread Newsroom.
A heat advisory is in effect for all of West Alabama until 9 tomorrow night. Heat indices could reach 109 degrees. Tuscaloosa District 1 City Councilman Matthew Wilson told the entire council last night the racial slur allegedly used by the owner of Nick's Filet House last weekend is not indicative of the racial attitudes for the whole city. And beginning December the 1st, Danny Wimmer Presents will replace Red Mountain Entertainment as a provider of acts for the Mercedes-Benz.
The warm, soft bun. You can really taste the sweetness in every bite. The maple bun is bringing the fun.
Order the Maple Pepper Bacon Sandwich on the Chick-fil-A app today. Available for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
The game is powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com. David DeSantis, the largest selection of new Toyotas in over 3 years, can be found on Skyline Boulevard, 3325 Skyline Boulevard. Also a nice inventory of pre-owned inventory. You can find the new Tundra, the 2024, the Tacoma 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive. How about a new 4Runner, Highlander, RAV4, Camry, Corolla? For those outside of Tuscaloosa, saved money by driving to Tuscaloosa and buying here with a great tax rate. Customer service is a priority at Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com. For over 5 years in our community in downtown Northport under that Roll Tide Bridge, Mark's Mark, the home of the chicken swirl. You'll find that since 1978 in Selma, Alabama, for over 5 years in downtown Northport. If you want to dominate the grill today or any day, find Mark's Mark. A great stop by on your way home. If you're preparing for dinner, they've got a lot of those gourmet dishes that you can find, the great casseroles, the dips, the appetizers, the great steaks, the pork chops, the burgers, and all the supplies you need to dominate the grill. It's Mark's Mark for over 5 years in downtown Northport and since 1978 in Selma, Alabama. Mark's Mark, home of the Chicken Swirl.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
This afternoon, we've got a heat advisory till 9 p.m. Temperatures reaching around 95 today. High humidity. Take extra precautions if you're working outside. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, the low near 75. Just a small chance for passing showers. Storm late tonight and early Thursday morning. Otherwise, tomorrow will be sunny with a high near 95. I'm meteorologist Bill Murray on Tide 100.9.
Roll Tide, the best sports talk.
Morty said that he was outside running. He does it 3 days a week in a sweatsuit. I used to try to make weight for the United States Air Force. That's the only time I've ever worn a sweatsuit in my entire life. And then I just realized I was a body fat guy and forget about the weight. As long as you get under the 20%, you're okay. You're okay. But, my. That is definitely a health concern when you run in the South in a sweatsuit. Let's go back to Parker Brailsford, because that's another. I mean, we've kind of went through these different audio clips, and we're going to play some of these, and there's probably even not enough time that we're going to be able to get to all these. We'll take your phone calls, 205-342-9904. A lot of excitement around this Alabama football team. Practice is underway. And let's go back to this Parker Brailsford, because we know a lot of the spring, maybe an adjustment period for him. He's going to anchor that offensive line. He's going to be one of the guys that we're going to keep an eye on when you look at anchoring that center. If you don't believe me, go back and look at some of that freshman tape from last year. He was a freshman All-American. He was also a Sean Alexander finalist, which awards as the top freshman in all of college football. We ended up having the winner when you look at Caleb Downs. But he's no longer here. Parker Brailsford is here, and he was a finalist for the Sean Alexander Award. He did not win it, but he was a guy that was right there with it. Let's go back and how this offensive line is meshing. I thought this was a really good question, and this is how Kalen DeBoer responded talking about this offensive line.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. I mean, that's where it all starts. I think your team is always going to be maximized, based on what your offensive line can do, because it sets the tempo and it forces the defensive line and linebackers to really do a good job of fitting their gaps and run. And, you can protect the quarterback to where he can go through his reads and receivers, having time to go through their routes, defensive backs now having to make plays, because the protection's there. So, these guys up front, really, a couple of them haven't been there throughout the spring, but like you said, Parker now back in there, Caden here, Pritchett still, took a lot of reps, so he had a nice day. Thought Wilkin did a nice job, so a lot of mixing and matching, especially at the tackle position, I guess. The interior three was pretty consistent, but their reps are going to be really critical for our success, and they're them gelling.
That's a big conversation when you look at that offensive line, and it does look like a little bit different style of offensive line. They're going to get down, they're going to block a lot, they're going to get outside of the pocket and do some damage. You'll see them down the field quite a bit. I think the rushing attack is one of those areas that when you look at Justice Haynes and Jam Miller, White, I don't know if you made it over the running backs. Dude, those guys look ready. And I know that we saw a little bit of that in the spring. I think that's why you saw Jace McClellan going to the NFL and Roydell Williams transferring out. It just seems like those guys have waited their turn, and it was their turn was now. And I thought Alabama was kind of average at running back last year. I think they'll be above average. And when you look at these backs, this is going to be a big conversation. How much will Kalen DeBoer rely on those backs as he continues to groom this offense? Let's continue with more phone calls. We go to Bubba in Northport. Bubba, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
It's all well. This is about the quickest I ever got in the game.
Well, you had to be ready.
I was ready. I was waiting. I was actually typing a message, but I'd rather talk to you anyway.
Okay.
So,
all right.
So was it hot out there today?
No, it was cold. I actually took a jacket. That's why Kane Womack was in a sweatshirt, because it was cold, man. It was a little chilly.
Was he really in a sweatshirt?
He was. It was kind of like a sweatsuit type thing. It was
almost like track pants and then one of those like dry fit hoodies that they have.
But it was.
Oh no.
Yeah. It's something you would wear in the deer stand, but not on a practice field. Kane, and I think, hey, Kalen was asked about this as far as the weather, as far as, if he would ever do something like this, if he would ever do this, and this is how he said it. This is, I think Wyatt's got it, but my answer is very similar to Kalen DeBoer. When you talk about wearing that type of outfit, no, thank you. No, thank you. I don't even like doing it in January, February, so I know I'm not going to be doing it in August.
I hardly don't wear, even on hunting, that much clothes. I mean, I'm so hot natured, I'll be sitting in the deer stand sweating, and it'd be 32 degrees outside. So, anyway, that's another subject. But what is the guy from the transfer from Washington Center? He was there doing his thing?
Oh yeah, Parker Brailsford. Yeah, I think that's why you saw Brockermeyer hit the portal, right?
Yeah. Okay. I wasn't real concerned, but I didn't want to go into fall without having a center.
Well, I mean, think about James Brockermeyer. James was a very talented center. I think he really came on pretty strong, but I think he saw the writing on the wall, and he said, I'm out. See ya. Have fun.
Not both of them boys didn't really pan out like we thought they would.
Well, injuries happened with Tommy, and then James was always a little bit undersized, but really put on a lot of weight, and I thought he had a shot, and then obviously Parker Brailsford jumped in there. But center's been a problem for Alabama. It's just not been very consistent.
Is there a chance that the wide receiver that got hurt in the spring would be back this fall? Hell,
I'm not gonna say because I just don't have all the medical information in front of that.
Right.
Let me wait till Kalen DeBoer addresses that publicly before I answer that question, if that's okay, Bubba. I'd rather depend on him from that medical standpoint because I've heard some things. I've heard some things, but I'd rather him talk on that than me because
I wasn't. I
know you were not prying. I'm just trying to add to it because
I wasn't real sure how bad the injury was.
It was a very severe type injury. Yeah, and it was. But I think from people that I've spoken to, I think he may be a little bit ahead of schedule, but that doesn't mean anything other than he's ahead of it today. Could be behind tomorrow.
Right.
So
right.
Let's wait.
You don't want to rush nothing like that either. Better be safe than sorry.
Yeah.
You will go ahead at the time. But anyway, that's about everybody. Was it good to see them back on the field? I bet it was.
I'm sorry?
I said, was it good to see them back on the field ready to go?
It was therapy. It was therapy for my mental health. It did me good. I'm talking about from it's fun to go out there, right? It's energizing when you go out there and you have a chance to go through practice and you see it out there. Yeah, we counted down this thing. For Alabama fans, as much as we've talked about a new coaching staff, Bubba, we should have a pretty sour taste in our mouth, should we not?
Oh, I know. Without basketball, we would have been in trouble this year.
Well, that's right.
We had basketball.
Thank you, Nate Oates. Thank you, Nate Oates, for getting us out of the dumpster. Woo, glory! If we hadn't had the Final Four appearance, man, it would have been tough.
What was the real reason? And I don't know if you even know this question from them moving practice from afternoon to morning.
Yeah, no, and I've said that a couple of times, but I don't mind saying it again, Bubba. What I was told. Very, very reliable sources. Wink, wink, Bubba. Can you see the wink?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you? Yeah. Okay. I don't know if you could follow that, but I winked at you. Very, very reliable sources. That one of the reasons why they did it is, for one, the NFL does the morning too, right? So you have NFL practicing the morning. And I think that's really, even though we've been accustomed to what Coach Saban was able to do, I think what they expect, like right now, players would be still taking summer session number 2, or I guess they could be in full term summer. They could still be finishing up that. players will finish up their class responsibility. Like, what time is it right now? It's 3:30 in the afternoon. So you may be able to get players to come back and work on individual things, whether they be physical reps or mental reps or film study. So you have more time for them to do things on their own. If your practice is just now starting at 3:30, then you're going to say, you know what, I'm not going to do anything in the morning more than what I'm required to because I don't know how physical practice is going to be. Well, then practice would be over at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the evening. You didn't have a lot of availability. Right? I mean, it's time at that point to go to study hall and you're done. So
I can understand the morning thing. I don't even like getting up and going deer hunting in the morning. So
yeah, well, and
you're probably surprised I said that.
Well, it depends on how big the buck is on the camera. But hey, I got to go to Alex Scarborough. I mean, if it's
roll tide.
Yeah, basket rack 8, no. Spike, no. Doe, no. But a 12-point, we'll roll out. Yeah, I'll climb a tree for a big boy. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Hope you have a great day. Thank you, Bubba. We'll continue. Josh in Georgia will be the first caller on the other side. Sam in Tuscaloosa, don't go anywhere. Alex Scarborough, Bama 247 Sports. He's next right here on the game. T-Town Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama.
398-9845. 800-398-9845. That's 800-398-9845.
Alabama Credit Union with the official countdown to Alabama Crimson Tide football right here on the game. AlabamaCU.com. The mobile app saves a lot of time. The mobile deposits, checking, savings, mortgage, home equity loan, financing a vehicle, the great competitive rates. Alabama Credit Union with great branches all over West Alabama and throughout the state of Alabama. Alabama Credit Union, AlabamaCU.com. Rumsey Environmental, a one-stop shop serving West Alabama for all of your waste removal needs. If you're in the construction business, take a little bit of stress out of your life. The construction debris removal containers customized to fit your job site, the portable toilet service, the storage containers to protect your valuables. It's Rumsey Environmental for that complete waste removal service. When you have to know it's being done right, that's the time to call Rumsey Environmental. 205-248-0002, RumseyEnvironmental.com.
Where college football season never ends. The Game with
Union lovers, so come ride with me to the distant shore. We won't hesitate to break down the garden gate.
All right, we welcome you right back into the game here in Tuscaloosa. I do remind you about the Wharf, the Working Western headquarters for the entire family. If you're looking for a new pair of jeans, you're looking for a new pair of boots, Justin, Tawny Lama, Red Wing, Georgia, Double H, Timberline, Laredo, and many more. The Rocky clothing, the Under Armour clothing, you'll find all of that. The Carhartt clothing, shirts, belts, buckles, hats, shoes, boots, all the Working Western wear for the entire family can be found on McFarland Boulevard in Northport, right there at the edge of Tuscaloosa, Northport on McFarland Boulevard. You can find El Gran, and you can also find the Blue Plate. You'll find the Wharf, the Working Western headquarters since 1976. We're going to go to the senior writer, Bama 247 Sports, CBS Sports, Alex Scarborough. I hope you're having an amazing day. Little excitement in the air. Practice number 1 under the belt here in Tuscaloosa.
Oh, it's finally here. We're underway. We can stop talking about what might be and start looking at hopefully what actually is.
Absolutely. You know, I want to get your thoughts on a lot of different things, but would you wear a sweatsuit in August? I know this is July. I get it, but it's close enough. Have you ever worn a sweatsuit in triple digits?
I wouldn't wear a sweatsuit in my house right now.
Amen.
In the air conditioning is below. I thought about saying I was wearing one for this call just as a joke, but I would hyperventilate and just combust. I mean, coaches are weirdos. God bless them. They're very strange individuals, and something like that does not surprise me in the league.
Absolutely. But Kane Womack doing a little thing. That was one of those. But let's go back to Kalen DeBoer, because I know you wrote about it on Bama 247 Sports, one of the websites covering the University of Alabama. What grabbed you from Kalen DeBoer's talk a couple of hours ago?
A couple of different things. The offensive line, Caden Proctor, looking really good coming in. I think that was a question on a lot of people's minds about, okay, what is, he's back in the fold at Alabama after some time away, but what did that do to him, physically? And, he looks the part. lean, strong, just a massive frame. You walk out there and you go, oh, yeah, that's the guy who everybody thinks can develop into a first-round pick. So to see that, and then to sort of know that, secondary is going to be a work in progress. There's a lot of new faces out there, a lot of talent, but a lot of talent that's either a freshman or somebody who was not with the program this time a year ago. So just trying to work out those kinks. But, as far as day ones go, it sounds like it's been pretty positive. And frankly, that's a refrain we've heard from the very beginning of spring, is that they've had productive practices, that they've been kind of doing the things that they're supposed to do. And I would just tell Alabama fans not to take that for granted, because we got to remember this is a pretty seismic transition that went on. And for it to go as smoothly as it has been so far, that's a testament to Coach DeBoer and the rest of the coaching staff and the players in that building as well, it should be said, that they're not having too many bad days out there.
He used the word lean with Caden Proctor. And we were discussing that in the first hour. 360 lean, you like the sound of that. Lean and being 360. I don't know where he is as far as 360. That's what he is on the roster, so that's the only thing we can go by. But lean is used with Caden Proctor, which is probably a term that we don't throw around lightly.
Yeah, and it's if you're opposing coaches, you say, hold on a second. How am I supposed to get around a lean 360 pounds? And the answer to that is good luck. I don't think there's much of a way if he's in peak physical condition, and it looks like he is. I mean, he came in, I talked to Caden before he was in that transition time, and he was very certain that he was doing what he was supposed to be doing, knew he wanted to lose a few pounds from where he was at last year, play a little bit faster, and you're seeing that. And no, he's a determined individual right now, and it's showing in the way he's worked out. And as Kalen DeBoer said, look, he doesn't have the hindsight of having been around him a year ago, but he said, facts are facts, and the statistical measurements of where he's at in the weight room, too, are up where they've been over a year ago. I'm really interested, excited, whatever adjective you want to use, to see what version of Caden Proctor we get come week one and on into the season, because he was on such an upward trajectory last year, late last season, after a rough start. Rose Bowl was a setback with the torn ligament in the ankle, and just sort of getting back. I think he's definitely where he needs to be physically. You hope he's where he needs to be mentally, and if the talent matches all that, get ready, because he could really take off.
Alex, there's still a lot of angst in the fan base when you look at Parker Brailsford going through the spring. And I think some of it has nothing to do with Parker. I think it goes back to the center problems that they've had in the past. That's why it's such a focus. What can you tell them about Parker Brailsford to kind of ease their mind that everything is going to be okay? Because I've said it for 2 months, but I can't get the message across. Anything you could add and help me here with Parker Brailsford?
Yeah, it's tough because I understand it.
Me too.
The only evidence you have from the outside, all you can deal with is what you know, which is he was here 1 second, then he was gone. And you're like, okay, what happened? And we're never going to get, unless Parker decides he wants to sit down and share what was going through his mind, we're not going to get potentially his side of the story. But why I think Alabama fans should not be concerned is twofold. One, every single thing I've heard since then, since the end of spring, was he's where he needs to be, that he's going to be part of the program. There's no doubt in anybody's mind that he's going to be there. That has been repeated on the record, off the record, every single time. So there's that. But I think if you want actions to speak louder than words, the guy who thought he could be the starter if Parker wasn't around left the program.
Great point.
If Parker was potentially not going to be in the mix, I don't know everything that transpired with James Brockermeyer, but he would have been the guy, and it's hard for me to see him passing up that opportunity if he thought one was there. So I think you have not just words, you also have actions that indicate that there should be confidence that Parker's where he needs to be. And look, remember, they had almost no downtime. You could measure it in hours between their season ending and Kalen DeBoer getting the job at Alabama. Then suddenly you're making a move across the country through all of this. So you've got physical and mental wear and tear that you're dealing with. There was a lot going on there. So I think we all just need to take a beat, take what's right in front of us, which is day one, practice one of fall camp. Parker's out there, and I have no reason to believe he won't be out there for the foreseeable future.
Alex, let's go into a couple different things when we talk about competition battles. That secondary is, I mean, you could probably come up with several different competition battles back there. Any chance this secondary is better than what we anticipate? Because at this point, it kind of seems to be, okay, maybe the weakness of this team, and I don't know if that's fair, but it's just a lot of unknowns back there in that secondary. I know Nick Saban said one of the reasons why he was not picking this Alabama team to be in Atlanta was the secondary. When you look at that secondary, what do you see?
Yeah, I think both things can be true, right? You can say that is the biggest concern while also acknowledging that there is really good talent on the back end, whether you're talking about safety or cornerback. The thing you've got to figure out, and I don't know if we're going to know it honestly until week 1, week 2, is how can they shorten the learning curve? Because it is, again, it's not just all the freshmen, it's the Damani Jacksons, Cam Howard, King Mack, Deshaun Jones, all those guys who were part of other programs at this time last year, who are learning new defenses along with everybody else. The upside is there. They're going to get better from wherever they are today to wherever they're going to be. But with all that unknown, you have to acknowledge that, right? So what is the permutations of what it looks like? It's probably going to be Damani Jackson at one cornerback spot, and then is it Zayden Brown or is it Deshaun Jones, the Wake Forest transfer? You feel good about the safeties. If you want to be really optimistic, I think the tandem of Malachi Moore and Keon Sabbath safety is going to be very strong. I think they're two really smart, gifted players. But you got to work out how everybody works together within a new defense, and that may take time. So where they are, I did a position group ranking for Bama 247 a few weeks ago, and where they were on that was on the low end, but acknowledging that where they end up, even a few weeks into the season, a month into season, could be very different. They've got the highest room to grow, I think.
Yeah, it seems to be also counting on players at a younger age, but or a different class, or earlier classification. But, Alex, as we look around college football, I think this is the new college football. I mean, I think this is where we're at, right? I mean, you're going to have to count on players. This is not 5-10 years ago where, you know, you could stockpile. Like a guy like Marlon Humphrey, you get to redshirt on Marlon Humphrey. Well, I don't think in 2024 you're redshirting a Marlon Humphrey.
That's a really good point. It's hard to have quality depth now. It's very hard, especially when it's as black and white as are you on the field or off the field. Like, you'd love to have a Trey Amos back. I think if Trey Amos was still in the program, he would be competing for a starting job right now. But things happened. He goes to Ole Miss. There's a coaching change. You have to work with what you have, and rosters are going to be more – I don't know if we're going to get to true competitive balance, but when it comes to depth, that's going to be the hardest thing to manufacture. The question I have in my mind when I look at Alabama's secondary is I actually feel better about where they are within a Kane Womack defense than within a Nick Saban defense because of how complicated and complex Nick Saban's defense was. That's taking nothing away from it. Historically, one of the best defenses of all time. Do not get me wrong, but it was complex. It was a lot to take on. And what you hear from a Kane Womack defense and that vision style, it makes you wonder, can these younger guys, can they scale things down and just play football? And if it gets them the ability to just be athletic out there on the field, see ball, get ball, make a tackle, maybe it speeds up that timeline. I'm very curious. I don't know if it's as simple as that, but I do think there's the potential, at least for that, within this defense, whereas a year ago I would have been very concerned about busted coverages.
You know, that is a great point, because I remember when you and I and many others was out there and Deontay Lawson was circled around and we got a chance to talk with him. And I said, what's the biggest difference? It may have been you. I can't remember exactly, but I kind of did a follow-up question. And he said, it's simple. It's simple. It's a lot simple. And at times you almost felt like there was confusion back there because as the complexities you said. And that's a great point. And I also look at South Alabama, not taking anything away from South Alabama, but that's a program that, you've got to get players in and get them ready. So you may have to put a little pressure on. Maybe that's why that system is so simple. But Deontay Lawson, I thought he added to it as well.
And I do think playing simple is probably the way to go in today's games, too, when offenses are continuing to go as fast as they are. Keeping it scaled down, just being athletic. I think you have to understand in today's defense you cannot be perfect. I don't think perfect is possible. So maybe if you're playing a style of defense that can put you in a position to, I think optimistically, maybe you can create more turnovers. I think that might be a way that Alabama can kind of improve on defense overall without necessarily statistically being better, if that makes sense. Maybe you're giving a few more yards per play, but maybe you can create a few more turnovers. Who knows?
Alex, I'm going to get you out of here. Let's talk about Bama 247 because with the access, I mean, you guys have got a deep team. You got a pretty good depth chart there at Bama 247 Sports, but a lot of coverage and that means a lot of hands on the deck as far as the amount of coverage that we're able to give. It's going to be hopping and a popping there at Bama 247.
Oh, absolutely. It's a great to have the team I have around me with Mike Rodak, Cody Goodwin, Kirk McNair, and Brett Greenberg doing the recruiting side of things, not to mention all the various 247 people nationally and at other programs. It's one-stop shopping. You get everything you want on Alabama football. We got you covered. Really encourage people to go check out the website. I know there's a sale going on right now with fall camp underway. I want to say it's like 60% off. So, I mean, it's less than a Netflix subscription. So come hang out and enjoy.
Hey, it's Bama 247 Sports. Alex, thank you again for your time, man. Have a great rest of your afternoon.
All right, thanks, Ryan.
Thank you. Alex Scarborough helping us out. A lot of fun to visit with him. We talked a lot of Alabama Crimson Tide football. We're coming back. We're taking your phone calls. T-Town Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Your home of Alabama Crimson Tide.
Visit Mezwins.com. I've got this.
No representations made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Rumsey Environmental, a one-stop shop serving West Alabama for all of your waste removal needs. If you're in the construction business, take a little bit of stress out of your life. The construction debris removal containers customized to fit your job site, the portable toilet service, the storage containers to protect your valuables. It's Rumsey Environmental for that complete waste removal service. When you have to know it's being done right, that's the time to call Rumsey Environmental, 205-248-0002, RumseyEnvironmental.com. Don Wallace CPA, 527 Main Avenue in downtown Northport. Small business and personal income taxes, payroll, sales tax needs. They can also help you with nonprofit or church accounting or auditing. In business since 1999. They work for you, not the IRS. When you take on taxes, you got to have someone on your side. It's Don Wallace CPA, 205-345-5595, 205-345-5595. Don Wallace CPA, the official accountant of the game. Southern Ale House, 1530 McFarland Boulevard. As you know, it's one of my favorite places. Eat Southern, be Southern, the daily lunch and dinner specials, the great menu that features that Southern cuisine, like the bacon wrap meatloaf, the fish and taters, the biscuit sandwiches, the great steaks, the great chicken entrees, great sandwiches, including the pickle burger, the Ale House burger, the yard bird, great desserts, and always that featured bread pudding that Brett Garner's cooking up. Let Southern Ale House cater your special event by calling Taylor at 205-248-7500. Call ahead orders always welcome. Southern Ale House, 1530 McFarland Boulevard. Nuke's Eatery, they're on the fringe of the campus of the University of Alabama, close enough that you can smell the championships. The Nuke's Q sandwich, still the number one sandwich across the franchise. The French dip sandwich, I think, is going to challenge for that number one spot. The double club, the single club, you can pair those up with a great sandwich, salad, California-style pizzas, all available for catering from a group of 5 to 500, a small office party to a large corporate event. Joel Brumfield, they've done a great job for my family. They'll do a great job for you. 205 University Boulevard, 205-758-2455. Nuke's Eatery, close enough that you can smell the championships.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
This afternoon, we've got a heat advisory till 9 p.m. Temperatures reaching around 95 today. High humidity. Take extra precautions if you're working outside. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, the low near 75. Just a small chance for passing showers. Storm late tonight and early Thursday morning. Otherwise, tomorrow will be sunny with a high near 95. I'm meteorologist Bill Murray on Tide 100.9.
Where the season never ends. This is your home of Alabama.
How are you doing, Tuscaloosa? Let's talk a little Alabama Crimson Tide football. Let's go to Josh in Georgia. Josh, good afternoon, my friend. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
Everything's good, and I'm actually fixing to head out. Of course, it's Wednesday night, midweek service tonight. I'm going to pick up a suit from the cleaners and then get me some supper.
What's on your mind? What's on the appetite? Like, are you craving a hamburger? I mean, it's hot on the outside. I would go, maybe a tossed salad somewhere. Chicken.
Well, hey, salads are
good.
Taco salad. And I love chicken salad, and I love taco salad. But I'm probably more than likely, I got a little wing restaurant up here in town that I like to go to, which they got burgers, salad. Right now, for a limited time for the summer, they've had hot dogs. Those have been pretty good. But their Wednesday special is boneless wings, and I know those are glorified chicken nuggets. But you put them in that mango habanero sauce, that ain't terrible. That's pretty good. So, which I just like the mango habanero sauce. I put it on almost everything I get from there. I don't care if it's a burger, it's a chicken sandwich, whatever. That's probably one of my favorite sauces. So, a little bit of sweet heat to it, mango flavor, and then some heat to it where it just says, hello, I'm here. And
Josh, I'm so easy distracted with food. I mean, it's
me too.
I mean, it's just it's part of my weakness. Yeah, it's just part of it. But
hey, we live in the South, and
well, they don't ever talk about Michigan food. I mean, I never have anybody go. You ever tried that Michigan food? Have you ever had that Michigan food? No.
It's good Southern home cooking. It's good Southern barbecue. It's Southern fried chicken. So it's all about the South, and that's Jack's saying. So, all about the South, but that's anywhere. We love our food down here. And but anyways, hey, so I got to see some things while I was working on getting ready, and I seen what you put up from practice, and I love it. That just gets me going like nothing else. And I know you said I sounded like I was ready to put on a set of pads yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, you
actually seeing the boys put on pads is like, hey, give me a set of pads and let me help just run drills. So I'm serious. Like, it is awesome seeing them boys out there run the drills, run the practice, and get into what we've been talking about all off season, and that's football. So to know that it's just this close.
Well, and you got to think about, I think Kalen DeBoer said it in the opening couple of minutes of his press conference. He said, you really don't have to excite people.
Fire them up.
On
you don't have
number
to fire
one.
These boys up. No. And I looked at my watch about 9 my time, which would have been about 8. And I said to my buddy, and he don't care about football, but we'll talk it. I mean, he'll talk it, but he don't care about college football. But I think he's starting to at least warm up to college football because he sees how I am about it. But I told him, I said, Joey, I said, here in about 2 hours or so, we're going to be starting our first practice, and that just does something for me. And I said it almost brings a good old tear to the eye. But anyway, let me just say this. From what I've observed, and there was a picture that had surfaced of Caden Proctor maybe a couple of weeks ago on social media, and he had the fade haircut, and he had the trim looking as far as the haircut and the beard. But then the body, as far as trimming down and being lean, as the word the coach used, there's no way that's a lean 360. I'm thinking him and Tyler Booker's both in the 330. I mean, that's just from observance, from a picture.
Well,
that's what I'm thinking.
I don't think Caden Proctor is ever going to get to 330. I think that's that ship has sailed. I think if they could get him down in the 350s, I think that would be pretty awesome.
If he was 360 in that picture, that was more of a muscle, not a fat 360. Because I know we talked about different ones that said it. We had the heaviest offensive line in the country last year, and I guess they thought that big was better, but it's almost like we was too big to move and throw blocks and different things. But I'm telling you, unless there's another. I need to go back and look at some of the stuff he put up today. But the last picture I had seen of Caden Proctor from a couple of weeks ago, I was like, yeah, what your last guest just said. Good luck trying to get around that. So, and I mean that as a compliment, because you look at guys in the NFL, like you can look at them on both sides of football. Of course, we've had guys. I felt sorry for the guy who had to block Quinnen Williams. And I'll never forget when we played Oklahoma, Kyler Murray was going to take off, and Quinnen Williams just grabbed the back of his jersey, back of his shirt tail, and just pulled him back like a little school kid. And you sit down. So, and we've had those kind of guys on both sides of football to where, hey, good luck getting around them and good luck blocking that one that's coming towards you. So, but anyway, and I'm glad to hear the reports of Otis getting healthy.
Well, and
last
really,
year I missed him.
We kept hearing a lot of injuries, and I don't think it was just one injury. I think there was two injuries that he had to battle with. And I think Kalen DeBoer, I know he said today, he said if it would have been, let's say spring football would have been maybe 1 week longer, he said we'd have had him out in the spring. He was that close. But they were not going to push things. But that was another one I thought that really jumped out to me. And I think he knows. Because
you look at the year before last, he was, as a freshman, I can't remember who was on that line with him. It could have been a Boygby before he got hurt. I'd have to go back and look at that roster right quick. But one of his teammates had commented on him as a freshman, how impressed he was with his work ethic and whatnot. And, injury did bug him last year, so he didn't play to his full potential and wasn't able to play some of the year. And I missed seeing him out there because he was another one of those guys that come in pretty large, trimmed down, significant to where I wouldn't want to try to block him if I was an offensive lineman, just because he's that caliber of a player. So, but I look for him to be healthy. And, of course, we got Tim Keenan, who's, senior. He probably be the leader of that defensive line group as far as player perspective. But I'm just, it's getting closer, and that little bit of sitting in practice pictures and videos just did something for me and just gave me a warm, fuzzy feeling right in the soul. You know what I mean? Like you said, it was therapy, and it was therapy, especially for me living over here in Georgia. So I can't wait, Ryan. It's here.
Well, yeah, there's a reason to be excited. We're one Will Anderson away. Anderson away from Alabama Crimson Tide football. And
yes, sir. Hey, Ryan, you have
sorry
a good
about
day.
that. I think I just hit the Alabama football Twitter account. So you think that's Kalen DeBoer's favorite group? I don't even know how to get this off here now.
But anyway, all right, Ryan.
Wouldn't that be crazy if it was Kalen DeBoer's group after he's been kind of reserved on giving us? But
right.
That's a big option, but it is no doubt. Josh, I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, buddy. Roll Tide.
Right back to you. We'll continue, and we are working on a lot of different things. Tide109.com, the digital content, Wyatt Fulton, his team. We've also got tons of audio, tons of things to get to. We'll reset the 4 o'clock hour. Sam, get ready. We're coming to you in 2 minutes. T-Town, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Dan Beyer.
Bam Adebayo has 16, Kevin Durant 14 as the United States men's basketball team is up on South Sudan 87-70 in pool play action in the Paris Summer Olympic Games. There's 5:23 left in that contest. Earlier today, Serbia beat Puerto Rico by a score of 107-66. U.S. women's soccer team got past Australia, winning 2-1. They are on to the quarterfinals where they will face Japan. Women's volleyball, USA won in 5 sets over Serbia. Quite a day in the pool. France's Leon Marchand won 2 golds, 200-meter breaststroke, and the 200-meter butterfly, his second and third golds of the games, while another gold for Katie Ledecky, the American, captured gold in the 1,500-meter freestyle, the 8th gold of her career, 12th medal of her career. The NFL will experiment with Sony's Hawkeye technology to measure first downs during the 2024 preseason.
With only 43 seconds remaining, facing a 4th and goal from the 31-yard line at Jordan-Hare Stadium, quarterback Jalen Milroe finds himself under immense pressure, scrambling to connect with Isaiah Bond in the corner of the end zone for a miraculous come-from-behind victory over Auburn. The jaw-dropping 27-24 result came on the 10th anniversary of the Kick Six. Daniel Moore is proud to announce 4th and 31, his upcoming oil painting featuring the now famous Gravedigger play. New Life Art is now accepting pre-orders for limited edition fine art prints and canvases of 4th and 31. See the preliminary pencil sketch for the artist's full color painting at danielmooreart.com. Pre-order
neutrals and everything in between. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Big Mike's downtown Moundville, only about 15 minutes from where I'm located. Also in Gunnersville, Alabama, Thomasville, Andalusia, Auburn, Alabama, Orange Beach. You'll find one of the best steaks in the state of Alabama, voted by the Alabama Cattlemen's Association and many other great publications recognizing the great ribeye, the seafood entrees. You'll find those, the great service. It is Big Mike's downtown Moundville. If you're looking for a great steak, Wednesday through Saturday, 4 until 10, Big Mike's, downtown Moundville. MedCenterUrgentCare.com. We expect the unexpected. Locations in Tuscaloosa, Northport, North River, right there off Rice Mine Road, Fayette, Demopolis, Hoover. The great doctors, urgent care, family medicine, injuries, occupational health, sports physicals. We do expect the unexpected. MedCenter
Disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sCollidersFoundation.org.
I got spirit, I got faith. I might bend, but I won't break. I'll fight the elements. And I'ma go down swinging. If I go down, I'ma go down swinging. If I go down, I'ma go down swinging. If I go down, I'ma go down swinging. If I go down. This ain't a home. Nah, not even close. They camouflage like we fighting some ghosts. You start to doubt everything that you know. I feel the heat and it's starting to show. They try to break us, make us want to give in. Lay down our arms, provocate us again. Lay down a fight, I could never relent. And I'ma take it all the way to the end. The elements. I'll fight the elements. I got spirit, I got faith. I might bend, but I won't break. I'll fight the elements.
You know, I was just watching, and I'll be curious, we're going to get comments coming in with 205-342-9904, but I was going through that practice video. That's when you heard the music kick in. You know, one of the things that I watched, because we were talking about Kalen DeBoer in the media viewing period, how active he was. Go look at the practice video. I don't know if you went back and saw that, because I've watched it 2 or 3 times. He is a guy, go watch him taking the fumble drill, and I'll put this up on the Twitter account. He is taking, the only thing I know, Wyatt, you probably have more football terminology than I do. Maybe Sam can help us out, because I know what Sam does, even though he may not want to willing to say that. But it's a football on a broomstick, okay? And I know that's probably not what it is, but that's what it looks like to me. It's a football on a broomstick, and they are jabbing, trying to get that ball out of the running back's hand. I mean, the fumble drill, man, I remember Scott Cochran out there setting the tone, and that's kind of what it reminded me of. Let's continue. Let's go to Sam in Tuscaloosa. Sam, how are you, my friend? Welcome into the game in Tuscaloosa.
What's up, Ryan?
Hey, how are you, man? It's been a long time, man. I was...
it's been a long time. We've been running to each other all summer, though.
We stumbled. I mean, White, I'll tell you a funny story in the audience. I walked in. I was in the Love Airport, Love Field, and Sam walked up to me and said, Sam, you and I we run into each other, Dallas, Tuscaloosa, all over the place. So, Sam, it's good to talk to you as always, man. But, here I'm using these very elementary words, but I call it a football on a broomstick. What do you call it?
Well, now, the football on a broomstick, I know with us here at the high school, we use it as with our defensive line.
But is there a proper term for it?
Not really.
Okay.
It's pretty much we use to draw our defensive linemen off sides. That's the drill that we use it for. But it does help, though. I will say that.
Well, and then also the drill where they've got a pad, and it's also on a broomstick, but and they're trying to knock the ball out of the running back's hands. I mean, they got things at his feet, things at his chest. I mean, things at his arm. I mean, they're making sure the ball security is a priority. So I like that.
A big priority.
Well,
man.
And they also have these rubber bands tied to the ball. Well,
it'll help. It usually helps keep the ball in a position high and tight with the running back. So they wanna kind of coach them to keep it high and tight. So with the rubber band, it adds more resistance to the ball. So it's a kind of like a mind thing, so to speak. It makes you feel like you have a tighter grip on the ball. The rubber band does. So that's the reason why that is being used. But as far as I will tell you, it's kind of new for me with the football on the stick. It tried to, because here at Central, we have our running backs, run through like tires, or we'll have some guys on the outside trying to pull at the ball while they're running through the line or something like that. But yeah, anything for ball security.
Well, and it's just, a couple of days ago we were debating whether hunting was a sport. Okay, I know that's really off in the weeds, but and the guy countered. He said, "Well, one of the reasons why I don't think it's a sport is all the technology." I'm like, "Hold on a minute now, football field. I mean, they got headphones now in the helmets. I mean, you've got the catapult system which monitors players' output. It also monitors their thermals, whether they're overheating or they're having some issues with cooling. So there is technology's been introduced more than just on the hunting field, but on the football field. I mean, it is now more advanced than probably it ever has been.
Oh yeah, it is, man. It is, and it's going to take some adjusting and getting used to. But honestly, I kind of like the idea, man. Doesn't Alabama go to Leland Stadium this year?
They do. They do. Yeah, they do.
I think that will help Jalen with the sound there in environments like that. So I'm actually all for it.
Yeah, me too. And I think really it's helping. Think about the system. And I thought Alex Scarborough said a good comment a while ago. I mean, it was when you look at this defense, having to count on players at an earlier age, being a little bit more simplified, maybe a big positive for the University of Alabama.
Oh yeah. I'm excited all around.
Well,
man.
but I think you could even take it from the offensive angle. That headset to be able to communicate to your quarterback as you implement a new system.
But you know what though? It's funny you say that because I know on Friday nights I'm usually in the box, so it's just kind of hard to convey messages down to the sideline. Man, I wouldn't mind if we could use it in high school, man. Like, really.
Well, and I, that's one of the things that we have all got accustomed to is if you see a coach out there now that has a headset on, because you didn't see him at practice, right? So the coaches are having to adjust to the communication, right? Communicate through the headset for the players, but also the coaches, because they're used to, doing other things to get their signals in. Now they got a direct communication with the quarterback.
Oh yeah, man. This technology, man, I'm all for it, and it works, man. It helps improve the game.
All right. So from a coaching perspective, what'd you hear from Kalen DeBoer that grabbed your attention?
Really, man, I would say in regards to how he is with the development of our new and oncoming freshmen. I think, now I would say, me personally, I think he has paid more attention to their development from the moment they stepped foot on the campus, which is, in my opinion, it was a little different than Saban's approach, man. But I like Kalen's approach to making, developing the young talent and even putting them on the field, man.
Yeah, well, and you're going to have to. I mean, that's just where we're at in college football. And I think from an Alabama perspective, you're sitting there in your mind and you're going, okay. But I think you could probably do the same thing at Georgia. I think you probably, I mean, other than Ohio State, who has bought and paid for a football team up there, there's probably a lot of. I mean, I'm just being honest.
But when you want that though, Ryan, because like even what you posted earlier, with Ryan, like it seems like he's primed for a starting spot. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm all for putting that young talent on the field and getting them as much experience as you can.
Well, and I don't think they're going to be able to keep this young man. I mean, like I said, you work with high school players all the time. Could you imagine a junior reclassifying, for one, the intelligence that it takes? But from the
now I will say, now with us, we escaped them last year. We didn't had we won. I think we lost to Bessemer City last year. And we ended up going 5-5 and missing the playoffs. But had we beat them, we would have been traveling to Fairland. So
he's legit.
So
he's legit.
We just saw him on the field.
He's everything that you want. And the one thing that I watched, just the smooth. I mean, you watch these players, and they look like they're no doubt high output, but they're also like effortless. It doesn't look like it. Like their body doesn't move in many different ways. It's just smooth. I mean, that's what Ryan Williams is for me. It was just the in and outs, the cuts that he was making. It's going to be hard to keep that freshman off the field.
It is, man. It really is.
What else is on your mind, Sam?
That was probably it, man. Just really how he's developing the young talent. I think our offensive line is going to be big for us this year, man. I really do. I really do.
In your opinion, where did Caden Proctor play last year? I said 380. I just
man, know what?
I'd give anything to know because he was a big offensive lineman. Probably one of the biggest I've ever seen.
He looked every bit of 370, 375.
Yeah.
But honestly, man, I think we were invited to some of the practices during the spring, and I don't know if Brailsford had. I know he was out most of the spring, but, man, I think my only concern at the time, and I'm not sure who the center was, but the center looked about 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", about 270. Like he was getting flatlined just about every trip. And I was like, I know this is not our starting center.
Yeah,
that was before I knew what Brailsford's number was.
Yeah, I don't know if that was probably one of the new guys, but it could have been Brockemeyer.
Okay.
It could have been, but they've also got a true freshman center too, so it could have been him too. So but Parker's not a big. I mean, he's taller than that, but he's also a guy that he's not going to be 305. He's probably going to.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think he played somewhere in the 285, 290 range, but. I doubted that too, but then I watched the Texas defensive line get whipped by that Washington offensive line, and go watch Parker Brailsford and Montez Sweat go at it. I mean, they ran up his butthole. I mean, it was, right up his butt. I mean, they were not afraid to run behind Parker. So his leverage, whatever it is, he got under him and pushed up. I mean, Montez Sweat did not have a good game in that Texas game. I mean, and we know Bo Davis is a heck of a football coach. Bo Davis is one of the best elite defensive line coaches in the country, and that offensive line from UW wore them out in the trenches.
I got to go back and look.
Go watch it because, listen, trust me, I thought to myself, man, oh man, it's a small center, but they're not afraid. I mean, they were physically. That was the one thing that Kalen DeVore's system out there, because we're kind of always. I know this is a huge stereotype, but when you think about the Pac-12, you think about finesse football, air raid, throw it all over the place, 70 throws a game.
And you have to have an agile offensive line to play there. So in that conference, so I basically understood that. So they do a lot of running, man. Those offensive linemen that play in that type atmosphere, that type setting, they have to be agile. So. And with them being agile, they're not going to be very big.
Sam, I always enjoy the chats, man. Don't be a stranger around here.
Oh, I won't, man.
Hey, it's good to always see you, and hopefully, I'm sure the way that you and I frequent good restaurants and good places to visit, I'm sure we'll cross paths very, very soon. Good to talk to you, Sam.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll see you in Southern Isle.
I know you will. I can promise you I will be in. That's one thing. Now, this practice schedule, I may be losing weight in fall camp, and it's simply by struggling to eat. You know, that's I'm not going to be able to go and have my lunch. Like Joe Duckworth sent me a message this morning, said, "Hey, let's do lunch." I said, "Joe, I got to go to practice, man. I got press conference to take care of. I can't go over to."
Yeah, man, it's different now. You all can kind of get into the facility now.
Well, we're not being yelled at, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So I know there was a question. No, I better not say that. There was a question that came up. It was, what would it take for Kalen DeBoer to yell at us? He struggled with that answer, but I'll leave it at that. So it's because Nick Saban, he could yell at us because one of the trainers didn't handle the water bottle right. And it had nothing to do with us, but it was
right.
So, it was so funny. You'd always, and that's why I quit asking a question. You'd ask Nick Saban a question. Sometimes he'd answer it, sometimes he wouldn't. So, sometimes he'd sidestep your question. You'd be asking about offensive linemen. He'd twist it around to wide receivers. Like, Coach, I didn't ask you about wide receivers. Didn't matter.
Right.
You were one of those final few questions, and he had a message that he wanted to get out, and that was the method. Hey, Sam, I appreciate you, man. Good to talk to you.
Yes, sir. Good to talk to you,
man. Roll Tide. Sam here in Tuscaloosa. Sam does some great work, man. He's part of a couple of different groups, and I've known Sam for a long time. We'll break here. Pat in Tuscaloosa, get ready. We're coming to you 2 minutes away. T-Town Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
Now, this hour's West Alabama real-time news update from the Tuscaloosa Thread Newsroom.
A heat advisory is in effect for all of West Alabama until 9 tomorrow night. Heat indices could reach 109 degrees. Tuscaloosa District 1 City Councilman Matthew Wilson told the entire council last night the racial slur allegedly used by the owner of Nick's Filet House last weekend is not indicative of the racial attitudes for the whole city. And beginning December the 1st, Danny Wimmer Presents will replace Red Mountain Entertainment as a provider of acts for the Mercedes-Benz Amphitheater in downtown Tuscaloosa.
Get 24/7 local news coverage and sports updates when you download the free Tuscaloosa Thread app and sign up for twice daily email newsletters. Tide 100.9 Traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Well, happy hump day to you, and we're pretty light and right in the area right now so far. We're dealing with the normal road construction, so if you travel this or in these locations daily, then you know. McFarland Boulevard, both east and westbound between Jack Warner Parkway and Lurleen Wallace, you have that road work.
Nissan is your #1 dealer, and they'll beat any written offer or pay you $1,000. Keeping you #1 keeps Townsend Nissan #1. See dealer for details.
The Pharmacy at Midtown with TJ Thomas, 205-752-0627. PharmacyMidtown.com. Don't forget about the retail side of the Pharmacy at Midtown. It's an independent-owned pharmacy specializing in walk-in prescriptions, medicine-on-time packaging, which increase.
No matter how high the mercury rises, call Ox Home Services today at 205-979-0946 or visit oxhomeservices.com.
Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. Call Paul at 205-331-6823. Custom curbing for your home or business. Do away with those plastic individual stone borders. Go for that more permanent, decorative concrete border. No more grass growing between those individual stones. Cleaner to edge to maintain. They're willing to travel, not just here in Tuscaloosa, but also in our neighboring states as well over in Mississippi. Many colors and choices. They'll customize for that individual taste and house. Give them a call at 205-331-6823. You could also go to their Facebook account. Find their page. You can see exactly what the videos. They came out, did a free quote. Paul gave me an evaluation. Give them a call, 205-331-6823. Free quotes and evaluation. It is Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. Call Paul at 205-331-6823.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
This afternoon, we've got a heat advisory till 9 p.m. Temperatures reaching around 95 today. High humidity. Take extra precautions if you're working outside. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, the low near 75. Just a small chance of a passing shower. Storm late tonight and early Thursday morning. Otherwise, tomorrow will be sunny with a high near 95. I'm meteorologist Bill Murray on Tide 100.9.
The longest running sports show in Tuscaloosa.
How are you doing, Tuscaloosa? We welcome you right back into the game. Let me remind you about Southern Ale House, 1530 McFarland Boulevard, 1530 McFarland Boulevard. Eat Southern, be Southern. You know, they always talk about that great Southern cuisine. Brett Garner always cooking up some awesome stuff. And, you know, I'm probably going to be less frequent at Southern Ale House. That's a shame. That's a shame. Nothing against Southern Ale House, but when practice and 11:45 is a media availability, and really normally that's about a 15-minute window. So I may have to run in. Maybe they'll do a to-go box for me. You think Brett Garner might help me out a little bit? Because I've been craving some of that strawberry honey bun bread pudding. That'll pick you up on a Wednesday hump day edition. Blackened mahi tacos was the lunch special. That sounded good. They'll bring those back for the evening as well. Smoked pork chop, the coffee rub prime rib. And if you're looking at Thursday, hot style chicken tacos, brisket po' boy, fried grouper. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Thursday, always the great steaks, but they'll also amp that up for a dinner serving with that fried grouper, the coffee rub prime rib, the smoked pork chop. It's Monday through Saturday, lunch and dinner options at Southern Ale House, 1530 McFarland Boulevard, 1530 McFarland Boulevard. Also call Taylor if you're thinking about catering. That's a great option. Southern Ale House, 1530 McFarland Boulevard. Let's go to Pat in Tuscaloosa. Hey, Pat. Good afternoon, sir. You're in the game.
Hey, yep. Don't forget to get the cheesecake when you're there. And I leave everything else there and eat the cheesecake, man.
Yeah,
wow.
I'm trying to think. What is the lady that does the?
But all I know is that she knows what she's doing. Is because I'm a retired federal inspector, work with the finest research and development chefs all across the country, including Bobby Flay. And that woman knows how to make a cheesecake. That I'll say.
So now, what did you do for the government? Because you talk about weather sometimes.
Yeah, I did that too. That we ran hurricane models each time there was a hurricane.
Okay.
That I was involved in some of that too. But I also did any kind of seafood. I mean, everything from orange roughy from New Zealand to lobsters from Maine. Any time there was a problem all across the country, they called me in to solve the problem. But because my background, I worked for a company called Cisco, SYSCO, for about 4 years. I worked for Cisco. I was consultant to Cisco nationally for all the Cisco houses, which provides the food for Southern Ale House and anybody else that's any count as far as a restaurant goes across the country. And I decided whether they should buy their products or send them back to who they got them from.
I got
you. So, yeah, I got a really broad background in a bunch of different kind of stuff. But anyway, just because I sound country, Ryan, don't mean I am.
That's all right. I mean, do we sound country?
Hey, man. Hey, look, I'm gonna tell you about. So I would have called about to see if you want. I've got some extra thick, heavy duty Alabama hoodies.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And we really need to get you because you need to know what those boys are going through, and that's why that coach is wearing that stuff. Hey, when he figures out that he's had too much and needs a drink of water, he might let them have a drink of water. That's why he wears that stuff. So he wants to know what they're going through, and I'm proud of him for doing that.
Gotcha. Well, I would, the next time I go out and do anything in August, whether it's going to the grocery store, chasing the ice cream truck around the neighborhood, if you see me with a sweatshirt, call the police because I went off the deep end.
The deep end.
Yeah.
We got to take you to Bryce.
Oh yeah. Got to hook me up with some type of therapist because I have,
going off the deep end. I understand.
Yeah.
But you realize the last coaching staff, there were several of them did that too, especially when we had the fan day thing in early August. There were several of them that wore hoodies and stuff, wore real thick sweat coats and stuff. And when I go to fan day, I do too. But just because I sympathize for the boys.
Now, hold on a minute. Whoa. Hold on a minute.
What now?
You say you wear the heavy stuff for fan day?
Yes.
Pat.
Because I sympathize with the players.
Well, I don't think you need to go there. I think you're going to be okay.
If I wasn't, I got a ruptured tendon right now that I'm in my going my 4th week out of surgery, and with Dr. Andrews group over in Birmingham, and Dr. Waldrop actually did my surgery, and they're fantastic people over there.
They are.
But now, and they fix all of our boys at Alabama, and he actually does all the feed at Auburn too, though. But so he, like I said, he's a cat's meow. But anyway, back to.
I wonder if an Alabama player walked in and an Auburn player walked in at the same time, who would get the first treatment?
Alabama player.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted you to say.
Alabama is AU, it's AL. Come on. Makes sense?
Okay, so it's alphabetical. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's who's paying him the most money, Alabama. Good Lord.
Yeah, we're only 45 minutes south, too, so good point.
Yeah, that's right. But anyway, back to this thing that I'm hearing Ryan Williams is showing out. Did you get to see any of Ryan Williams?
I did. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he looks everything that we've talked about.
He's as advertised?
Yeah. Yes.
I thought so.
Yes. But, he looks everything that you think he is and more. And it's hard to even put it in your head that he should be a senior in high school. And he's playing big-time college football.
He's playing with the big boys. Next question. Did you see Cole Adams a little bit? I'm hearing that Cole Adams is running really, really crisp routes.
Well, and I'll be honest. Okay, and when you have 25 minutes and you're trying to make, like I'll walk through. I went offensive line, defensive line, inside backers. I think I went safeties. I think corners and safeties were broken up. I was with Mo, which is he's safeties or he's corners. So he's corners.
Yeah, Mo's the corners.
And then Colin is the safeties, which Colin Hitchler.
That spot where we were standing, you could watch safeties and the receivers.
Yeah, so we down in the corner. So then I made it around to the quarterbacks. Now, I did remember seeing Cole, but I don't remember absorbing too much from Cole Adams. But I've also heard some great things from Speedwise. I know Jamarcus Shepard. Shep was on with the coaches in the morning a couple of weeks ago, and I know he pointed out.
I caught that interview. Yeah, so. He actually brought Cole Adams up, and when the coach, because it was his mama that said he was so fast. Because Cole was hurt most of his senior year, and didn't get to really show out, and we went on and recruited him and took him anyway, and it looks like we might have got that diamond in the rough that we didn't know a whole lot about, but he's sure enough crisp running routes from what I'm hearing.
Well, and to me, that's what, this wide receiver unit, Kalen is too involved. It's kind of like Alabama defensive backs, and at time we would let our guard down a little bit, and we didn't play great fundamentals. But wide receivers, Pat, I just don't think you're going to have an issue with wide receivers. I think wide receivers is going to be a strength. It's been a strength for Alabama in the last 8, 9, 10 years. No, even beyond that. I mean, you could go back to Amari Cooper, Calvin Ridley, and then you got in this big group of true freshmen, and then, a Heisman winner, Devontae Smith. But, I mean, it's deep. And then, really, we've not dropped off, but in some ways we really have dropped off. So I think that's coming back. And I think when you watch Kalen DeBoer, how much time he spends with those receivers, no doubt he played the position. But,
You said you did work with the offensive line a little bit. You did look at it. And,
no, I did. Yeah, what question?
Okay,
I can probably answer better questions there.
Okay, Vandermark. I want to know, because he is so much bigger than Parker that it ain't funny.
Yeah, Parker,
I mean, we're talking 6'5".
But Parker's your center, Pat. I mean, it's...
Yeah, well, I understand that. I'm just saying, knees, anything can happen. I just want to know, do we got somebody comfortable to go behind him?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because from what I understand now, what I looked up on Vandermark, I hadn't seen where he snapped the ball in college. And he's supposed to be a center. And he came out of college as a really, really good. In the state he came out of, he was number one offensive tackle, not center. And he's so big. He's 6'5", close to 320 or better. That's a big for a center. But,
I think he can play a lot of those interior positions. And I've got a Michigan State guy, and it reminds me so much of what we heard from Landon Dickerson. And the quote was, if he can stay healthy, he's a very solid player. Well, what was the knock on Landon Dickerson before he got here? He couldn't stay healthy.
Couldn't stay healthy.
And look at him. Now he's one of the highest paid interior offensive linemen in the entire National Football League.
Yep. Well, he came to Alabama and he got developed. That's for sure. Landon Dickerson was special. Man, that cross tie that he had for a bumper on his truck, man, that was awesome.
I forgot about that. I forgot about that. Toughness. Hey, man, thank you, Pat. I appreciate you.
Have a blessed day, Ryan. If you want to borrow one of them sweatshirts, we can fix you up.
Well, I tell you what, Pat, why don't you leave Wyatt your number, and I'll make sure that I come by and get it tomorrow before practice. And, like you said, I'll feel tough tomorrow afternoon. I mean, I'll look like
there you go.
I mean, I might have to get an IV, but, yeah.
Yeah, they downtown Tuscaloosa, they got a place you can get an IV.
Yeah, well, the male ego will make you do a lot of crazy stuff. Pat, that's not one of them, okay?
Hey, have a blessed day, Ryan Fowler. Thank you.
Hey, right back to you. Thank you. Med Center Urgent Care Family Medicine, no appointment necessary. The super doctors who live and work in our area. Med Center Urgent Care Family Medicine, no appointment necessary. The super doctors who live and work in our area. MedCenterUrgentCare.com. We roll on. We'll continue with more of the game. T-Town Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
Bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
Dos Amigos, Highway 69 in the new Publix Shopping Center. 11 a.m. opening, 10 p.m. Friday and Saturday closing at 9, Sunday through Thursday. Some great Mexican cuisine, the great fajitas, the great desserts, the great lunch specials. You'll find it at Dos Amigos in the Publix Shopping Center on Highway 69. Takeout.
Feeling these changes within just a couple of days.
Text support to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
It is DanielMooreArt.com. DanielMooreArt.com, the great fine arts by New Life Art. Daniel Moore, the great, and that's a combination. DanielMooreArt.com, NewLifeArt.com. It takes you to the same place. It's Daniel Moore, the art gallery. Remember the special discount code. It's very simple. The game, significant savings. DanielMooreArt.com. 4th and 31 is a great option. Jalen Milroe getting the job done to Mr. Isaiah Bond, even though he's wearing that burnt, ugly orange out in Austin. That's okay. Just think if Auburn would have beat Alabama, oh, my Lord, have mercy. DanielMooreArt.com. DanielMooreArt.com. AC, I'm going to go ahead and warn you now. Be careful. I'm not in the mood for foolishness today.
What are you talking about, bro? How you feeling? Thank you so much for taking my call, man. Good afternoon.
Good. I'm good. I'm just giving you a fair warning now. I'm snappy today.
Well, sure. You're not. So I was going to talk about the Iron Bowl in Ohio, Michigan. Can I do that? Can I have your permission, or are you going to be upset about that too?
No. You're welcome to do that.
Of course. So what happened today? Something happened? Something wrong?
No.
Can I help you?
No, I mean, I'm just, I'm
having a bad day?
I've been out at practice. I mean, I feel like hitting somebody today. I feel like putting the pads and a helmet on and, pretending like you're a tackling dummy.
Well, sure. I guess you and I, we can work out together, right? We can break some sweat. I love breaking sweat, bro. That's a beautiful thing. But let me.
Well, I should be music to your ears because you're always trying to get me to cut back on my caloric intake, and now that's happening.
Some of the criticism I give you, like off the air, I like to keep it private because I don't want to pull you out on air.
Come on now, private. I mean, you pretty much say it.
What do you want me to do? So what do you want me to do? Put you in the spot? So what do you want me to do? Put you in the spot on air? I cannot do that. The love I have for you, I cannot do that. If I love someone, I don't do that. But if I hate someone, I do that. So what do you want me to do? Love you or hate you? What do you want me to do before I start talking about this rivalry?
It doesn't matter to me.
I love it. I like that attitude. You don't like it. I love it. Hatred, right? You want to be the villain, but you cannot be like me, bruh. But here's the thing, Mr. Fowler. Let's talk about Ohio State, Michigan, and the Iron Bowl. Iron Bowl, let's face it. Everybody in the South, you guys hype this up, but it's not even, to me, that's my personal opinion. It's not even one of the top rivalry. Let me give you this numbers. You ready? I'm pretty sure you know this better than I do. Michigan and Ohio State. Michigan is leading 61-51 over Ohio State, and they met 119 times so far, 88 times. Meeting total is 88 times between Alabama and Auburn. Check this out. Alabama won 50-37. That's an all-time series. So they just won what? What is it? Half gazillion competition over the Auburn Tigers. I mean, when was the last time Iron Bowl was even hyped up, Mr. Fowler? Do you know?
No.
2013. That's the last time it was hyped up because that game meant something. Whoever wins goes to the national championship. We all know what happened. And then that team lost to Florida State. And then since 2011 up until this past season, Ohio State and Michigan game has been hyped up leading up to that week. That the last regular season game in November, Ohio State and Michigan has been hyped up all over ESPN. I didn't hear a single thing about the Iron Bowl. Of course, your station, they talked about it. I get it. And, of course, the other station, they talked about it. But we're talking about national media. So, me personally, Michigan and Ohio State, it tops out the best rivalry in all college football. And the reason the Iron Bowl is so passionate, there's one man out there who made Iron Bowl so special, and I love that man, Harvey Updike. It goes to show you the passion. People want to forget what he did. I'm not going to forget. That's what I call passion. So what you have to say about that, Mr. Fowler? Am I right? Am I wrong? Or what did I do
You're
wrong?
wrong. Listen, when people have let's just get this all straight right here, okay? I know you got Texas and Texas A&M, and you got Oklahoma and Texas, you got Michigan, Ohio State. Everybody else is playing for second place, okay? Alabama and Auburn, as much as we dislike that bunch across the state, it's the number one rivalry in college football. You can tell me it doesn't matter. You can tell me it hadn't mattered since this. It does matter.
This is your biased opinion,
well, no,
Mr.
but
Fowler.
I could counter that, and I could say, okay, how many times has Alabama been on the way to a national title game, and Auburn would have beat Alabama? Then it wouldn't have been the case. They would have put a roadblock.
That has changed since 2013, Mr. Fowler. That has changed. I understand that, but that has changed since 2013.
Hey, see, I'm trying to save you from making you look like a fool.
I'm not making myself look like a fool. Let me ask you a question. So if you're in a Big Ten country, would you have that same conversation that Iron Bowl is the best rivalry compared to Michigan and Ohio State?
It's not even comparable, okay? I'm just telling you. I hear these people.
That's your biased opinion.
No, it's not a biased opinion. It's just a fact.
It is a biased opinion. Because you're in Alabama, you're trying to stick up for those boys in Auburn Tigers.
I mean, your opinion is a biased opinion. That my opinion's a biased opinion.
Hold on. How is that a biased opinion when I don't have a team? If I had a
because
team,
you don't live in this state, you don't understand it. You don't get it. You think you do.
That's why I told. Okay, how about this? Let's have Michigan and Ohio State callers call in. Let me see what they have to say. Let me see what your biased Alabama and Auburn fans. I never heard a single thing from their mouth in your station. What are they doing? They are tracking back how to win that 4th and 31. That's what they're doing. And you didn't mention Texas and Texas A&M. That's a rivalry. You do understand Texas ran Texas A&M out of Big 12. Now, Texas A&M probably have to find another conference. You know, Texas A&M, Texas, and Oklahoma, that's not even a rivalry. It's a garbage rivalry. If you were to tell me, can you give me 2 rivalries, I'll give you Iron Bowl and Ohio State and Michigan, the game, not your station. I'm talking about the game that comes late November. That's real rivalry. That's a die-hard passion, Mr. Fowler. I'm telling you. I don't know why you mentioned. Can you please tell me why you mentioned Texas and Texas A&M?
Where do you think Ole Miss and Mississippi State match up?
But doesn't matter. Are they playing for a national championship? No, they're not.
So that's,
when was the last time they made
that's how you define a rivalry? That's how you define a rivalry?
So it has to be something in stake. That's what I told you. 2013 was the last time.
We live with these backwoods hillbillies, okay? We live in the same state. That's what's at stake. It doesn't have to be a national title.
Of course. So what are you playing for? You're playing for Iron Bowl? You're playing for SEC championship? Why are you playing for the national championship? At the end of the day, you want to hold the national championship, correct?
Sure. That's why I try to explain that Auburn can derail that.
Mr. Fowler, let's be serious. You think the Auburn Tigers would make it to the 12th-team playoff?
Do you wake up like this every day and you say, I'm going to be dumber than I was yesterday?
I try to.
Okay. At least you're honest.
But hold on a second. You did not answer my question. Do you think the Auburn Tigers, they're going to even make it to the 12th-team playoffs? I'm asking you a question. I don't think so. What about you?
I mean, come on. I mean, they wouldn't make the playoffs if there was 36 teams in. No,
they're not going to make it.
They're not a playoff team. Yeah, I mean, so
that's right.
That takes nothing away from the Iron Bowl. It takes nothing away from the rivalry.
Sure, a rivalry to you. Only reason that rivalry still exists because of Harvey Updike.
You don't live here. You don't understand it. You think you do based on a national narrative.
Ignoring this man, and you keep ignoring Harvey Updike. You don't want to mention it. That's a shame.
Is Pakistan and India a rivalry?
Of course it is.
Okay. Are they playing for the ultimate superior title? No. But they're rivals.
They don't care because they're losers among all losers. That's why.
That's your opinion.
But Mr. Fowler, see, you have your opinion. I have my opinion. But let's face it. Let's have these callers call in, put your bias aside, and tell me. I told you. Harvey Updike is the man, but you don't want to mention the name.
You can mention it.
You don't want
to mention it.
Why don't you mention the name?
You just did.
Why don't you mention the name?
You just did.
But why didn't you mention the name? Why is it so hard for you people to mention the name?
Because it's about 15 years old. Okay, I mean, you want to bring it up. You bring it up, man. We got to go. We got more important things to sit here and argue with a.
You do that, all right? You're running away like you always do. Thank you for taking.
We got to go. I mean, it just. I see the national narrative out there, and it's like Texas and Oklahoma now part of the SEC. That's a respectable rivalry. Texas A&M, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, but Alabama and Auburn's up here, and everybody else is playing for second place. You have to live it. You have to be in this state to understand. I just don't think people truly understand the hatred that these two schools have one another. We hate them, they hate us. It's okay.
These other states,
they
jump in
think
really quick.
they know.
They have other, like Texas has the Cowboys. Texas has NBA.
Great point.
Oklahoma's got the NBA. Michigan and Ohio, they both have professional football teams. We have nothing to do in the state of Alabama except watch the Iron Bowl and hate the team on the other side of the state.
And we hate them 365, 52.
366 every 4 years.
Right. I mean, but it's not comparison. And I see some of the national media guys will throw it out there and they'll be like, hey, hold on a minute. This Texas, Oklahoma, it's close. No, it's not. It's not. I mean, it's not comparable. We'll take your phone calls. T-Town, Tide, 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Well, found a little trouble in Northport right now, traveling on US 43 on the northbound lanes, just past 43rd Street and right around Flatwoods Road. We do have an accident at that intersection, so it's keeping traffic just a bit tight.
Vitamins that control growth. They also perform an important function by controlling blood pressure and minerals like calcium and potassium to keep the entire body healthy.
DanielMooreArt.com. Daniel Moore Art celebrates those special moments of Alabama football history like 4th and 31, Jalen Milroe connected with Isaiah Bond, or the legacy continues with all the great memories of Alabama Crimson Tide football. You can celebrate Coach Saban with a Nick Saban print, the limited edition canvas. You could also find many of the great mini prints. Celebrate that special Alabama fan in your life.
Or visit OxHomeServices.com. Don't sweat it. Let us handle the heat. Ox Home Services, your trusted partner in home comfort.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
This afternoon we've got a heat advisory till 9 p.m. Temperatures reaching around 95 today. High humidity. Take extra precautions if you're working outside. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, the low near 75. Just a small chance of a passing shower. Storm late tonight and early Thursday morning. Otherwise, tomorrow will be sunny with a high near 95. I'm meteorologist Bill Murray on Tide 100.9.
The Game with Ryan Fowler. Powered by
Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. AC gets my blood pressure up. Anyway, may have to get my doctor to prescribe me more. But am I being unfair when I look at the Alabama and Auburn rivalry? I mean, yes, I'm biased because I live in this state. I've lived in this state my entire life, almost my entire life, okay? I get it. You could even go over and survey Auburn fans. This might be the only thing we agree upon. It is the number one rivalry in college football, and it's not really close. It's just we live it. And I like what you said. There is no other distractions. There is no pro football. There is no Texas Rangers. There's no Dallas Cowboys. There's no Houston Texans. And Jared in Dallas, Texas, Jared in Houston, Texas, Cowboy out in Texas. You guys live in that state. Call us today, 205-342-9904. Call us today and share from you understand the Alabama and Auburn rivalry, but you also understand that rivalry because you live there. Is it comparable? I mean, I'd love to hear from Jared in Dallas or Jared in Houston or Cowboy or some of our folks out in Dallas that listen to us. Are we being unfair? Anyway, dadgummit, here's AC got me down this rabbit hole because it's not really a rabbit hole, but here we are. 1 hour left. We'll take that phone calls coming up here in a couple of minutes. We'll continue with more Kalen DeBoer audio. Man, oh man, oh man. Big Mike's. Always some great options. If you're looking for a great steak, about 15 minutes from where I'm located, you will find Big Mike's. Rockefeller pasta is the option. You can do that chicken. You can do that steak. You can also do that with shrimp as well. Grilled salmon is the option there. It is our good folks at Big Mike's. In downtown Moundville, you'll find it Thomasville, Andalusia, Guntersville, Alabama, down in Orange Beach. Big Mike's, voted by the Alabama Cattlemen's Association as the best steak in T-Town. Big Mike's, no doubt a great steak, but also some great seafood entrees as well. Wednesday through Saturday, right here, Tuscaloosa. T-Town, Tide 100.9, 1230.
Hey, yo, this next one goes out to New Febreze Coffee, giving you a chance to win free gas. La, 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 la.
No purchase necessary. Must be 18 to enter in 73124 for rules and how to enter. Visit Febreze.com.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Dan Byer.
Bam Adebayo has 16, Kevin Durant 14 as the United States men's basketball team is up on South Sudan 87-70 in pool play action in the Paris Summer Olympic Games. There's 5:23 left in that contest. Earlier today, Serbia beat Puerto Rico by a score of 107-66. U.S. women's soccer team got past Australia, winning 2-1. They are on to the quarterfinals where they will face Japan. Women's volleyball, USA won in 5 sets over Serbia. Quite a day in the pool. France's Leon Marchand won 2 golds, 200-meter breaststroke, and the 200-meter butterfly, his second and third golds of the games, while another gold for Katie Ledecky, the American, captured gold in the 1,500-meter freestyle, the 8th gold of her career, 12th medal of her career. The NFL will experiment with Sony's Hawkeye technology to measure first downs during the 2024 preseason.
Rolling down backwoods, Tennessee byway. One arm on the wheel, holding my lover with the other. A sweet, soft southern thrill. Worked hard all week, got a little jingle on a Tennessee.
All right, let's go through the great credentials of the University of Alabama. You guys ready? 18 national titles, 30 SEC titles. Nobody has more. 177 postseason appearances, 147 postseason victories. Wow. University of Alabama Crimson Tide football. It is 4 Heisman winners, the NCAA all-time scoring leader, and the greatest football coaches to ever walk the sidelines. We are talking about Alabama Crimson Tide football, and we are going to dive into a lot of different Kalen DeBoer audio, and I know we've already got that cut up, and we've been playing a lot of that. Alabama finished up their first practice under the morning sun. That was about 102 on the heat index. Oh, it was nice. It was toasty. We had Kane Womack out there, and tomorrow we'll have a chance to talk with Kane, and we'll get an explanation of why would you wear that thick sweatshirt. I wonder if he had to get an IV following practice. I don't know, but I can find out. Let's continue. Let's go to Jared in Dallas, Texas. Jared, we call out your name and you answer. I hope all is well. Welcome into the game in Tuscaloosa.
Hey, man, it's not many times you get in your car, plug in your phone, and hit the app, start streaming, and you hear your name.
Well, we needed a source, and I'm glad that we were able to get a source, okay? But you understand the Alabama and Auburn rivalry, okay? You get that. Oh, yeah. But you also live in a state where there's some people think that it's comparable. In your opinion, does it?
You know what? Years ago, the A&M Texas thing was maybe somewhat comparable. You know, when they played every year, but there's basically a whole generation of kids that don't even know about it, and it doesn't compare now. I mean, there's with older alumni, there's a lot of pure hatred, but nothing compares to the Bama Auburn. Texas OU is pretty good. There's a good level of hate, but the OU folks are pretty tame group, and it doesn't get cranked up quite as bad. But there's nothing. I mean, you know my history, my Alabama history. There's nothing like the Auburn-Alabama deal. Here's a perfect example. Right now, we started practice today. We got all this stuff going on. We got a great recruiting class going on. But I am struggling right now to get out of my head that I keep seeing that Auburn has taken the top 6 or 7 kids out of Alabama, has them committed to next year. God knows what they're doing to do it over there. But I can't get that out of my head because it's Auburn. You know, and the thing about it is even when Texas A&M was full speed back when they were in the same conference together, it was nothing like Alabama Auburn is in June. I mean, in June, July, it's just nothing close. And I'm comparing that, Ryan, to growing up in an NFL player's house as well and being part of all that. I've never seen anything like the Alabama Auburn experience.
You know, I just don't think people truly understand it when they start comparing it. And I see the national audience, they'll put it out there. Hey, Ohio State, Michigan, you guys don't have to live with those individuals. And I'm sure they probably feel the same way about us. But it's different. It's different. It's not the same. It's, you hear these people compare it. No, it's so far. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I love rivalries. I think they're great for college football, but it's just not comparable.
I'm gonna tell you this, Ryan. Dad and Perkins were really close. I mean, they're like family to us. And when I was a kid and he was coaching for those 2 years, when they lost to Auburn, it was like somebody died, man. I mean, it couldn't get any worse. I mean, we felt horrible because we lost. We felt horrible for him because we know and we knew we're in the middle of it. We knew what it meant, We knew what it meant in the state. And the fact that there was 364 days until, you got a chance to redeem yourself after that. It was awful. I can remember when Perkins lost a couple of those games. It was horrible, man. Losing to them was as bad as it could get. So, no, nothing compares.
Yeah.
Nothing compares.
All right, so is it – well, I was going to ask a random question, but that's all right. I think you covered the point. Jared, a lot of excitement around this Alabama football team. You got anything before we let you go?
No, man. How'd that D-line look this morning?
Deep.
Really?
Deep. Yeah, there's a lot of young personnel over there, but there's also some veterans. When I look at defensive linemen, I think it's only as strong. Like, that's one position that you better have more than just your starting guys. You need to be deep. I think that defensive line is deep.
Did you survive?
Well, did I survive?
Did you pass out?
I went through and without an IV, guys. I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm not as bad as I once was either. I didn't even request an IV. I didn't say, "Hey, coach, can you put me in the tent? Can you cool me down a little bit?" No, I behaved myself. I was nice, but Jared, I did. Now I'm telling a secret. I said this earlier in the show. I walked in at practice. We were in there probably 9-10, and they got us out. I don't know how much viewing period we got. We got over 30 minutes. Because how do I know? Because my battery was dead on my phone. Because I kept zooming in and when you're doing video, it drains your phone pretty quick. And I wasn't dead, but I got back to the car, and I did a hit with Gary at 10, a radio hit with him. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go home. And I went straight home, and I took a shower because I was.
Oh, bad.
Well, because I'm not going to sit here smelling like a.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, how did Justice Haynes look, man? That's my boy.
Justice is going to be a big time playmaker. That's a competition that we really haven't. We'll have to let it play out of who kind of gets that first rock. But
it's got to be him.
Well, look. Jam Miller is not a pusher.
I know.
So.
I know, but I think you. Hey, man, did you leave the Omni? And I know I'm scrambling here too.
You're fine.
Did you ever leave the Omni Hotel here in town? Did you do anything when you were here and I had to go to Iowa?
I went to the Texas movie theater, and I did a veteran move. I don't mind telling you. We did they fed us these big food trucks, okay? They took us. Listen, I don't have an interest sitting around watching a movie with a bunch of media members for an hour and a half. I'm not really a big movie guy as it is. Okay, so they wanted us to watch some kind of SEC whatever. But so we rode the bus. We got off of the food. Me and radio guy from Mobile. We'd been in this business for too long. We got in. We got in the bus. We rode out to the Texas movie theater. Is that what it's called, or Texas? It's where they trapped. Where they caught. Yes. Yeah. So we went in, got my food, got right back on the bus, went right back to the hotel, and ate it in my room.
Good. Those food trucks are are pretty good.
Oh man, there was some good Texas barbecue in there, man. It was solid. Yeah, it was solid. But they were trying to get us. Come on in, watch the movie. Come on in, watch the movie. That's okay. We're trying to, I mean, we can watch this movie at a later date. Like I said, it was some kind of SEC city. I mean, heck, I've lived the SEC. I mean, why do I need to go watch a movie about SEC cities or something? That's.
Well, hey, one more comment for you. So I mean, I have been listening whenever I can, but I've been so busy working and traveling around that I'm just going to let everyone know that the general average fan around the country pretty much written us off. If you want to know, just what the average college football person, like for instance, Oregon. I was around some Oregon guys. They're not. I mean, they keep up with their program. They're not diehard crazy like we are, but just very passively in their comments, they're just saying, "Yeah, you guys okay over there? I know it's probably pretty rough." And I'm just like, "Do you people actually read it? We're just fine."
They do not. I mean, Jared, and that's another part of. It's like the fans think we're just going to quit being Alabama. We're just going to okay, we're just going to go back to being 7-5, 8-4, no big deal. Do you think Kalen DeBoer walked out of UW where they were already labeling him the next Don James to come down here and get his head beat into the SEC? If he didn't think he could get his job done, you think he would have walked out? No.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was funny, man. I was in Iowa. I was in Oregon, all these places, and it's just a casual comment. Yeah, I mean, you guys okay? You gonna be okay? I mean, it's got to be tough. And I'm just sitting there thinking, man, do you people not have an iPad or a smartphone? I mean, have you seen the recruiting rankings? I mean, everything's pretty good.
Well, hey, as Coach Bryant said when we were losing to Tennessee at halftime back in the 60s, it could have been the 70s. You guys will have to correct me if I'm wrong. I was born in 78, so I'm just recalling from what you guys have told me. We got them right where we want them. Yeah, that's you know what I mean? You got them. Let us be that. I mean, Georgia, we just want you to think that, which you should have no reason. And the SEC should not be celebrating because they could not take advantage of a down year in Tuscaloosa. Take that. We won our 30th SEC title. Take that. Jared, I appreciate you, man. Roll Tide.
Yeah, man. Yep.
We want to thank this guy. Sometimes Beminick.
Girl, Okay, fella, don't step on my call now like you normally do, but I'm going to give you the first 5 minutes to talk. Go ahead.
Why?
The floor is yours.
Why?
I'll give you 5 and I'm going to talk for 10.
Why did you invite that caller to this radio show, Bamanick? Why did you do it? Why? I mean, you must have been having a bad day when you said, "Hey, call these guys. Call these guys. They want to hear from you."
No, fella. That's not what happened. I saw back, how long's OAC from Bangladesh? How long's he been calling your show now? Let me think, about a year. That about right?
Yeah, about a year. About 1 year. Yep.
All right. Well, after I've been calling your show now, I guess maybe 2 years, 2.5, something like that. Maybe 3. I don't know. But I got to listen, fella. The whole time I listen to your show and we get into the parlay picks and all that is pretty good. But then the callers you were having was getting kind of dreary. Dreary, that's a good word.
Okay.
They were boring. That's another word. So I said, hell, I need to get somebody on the show that can liven up the show and get a spark going other than me to liven up the show. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't say I called AC because I don't have his number, but I mean, I don't know how. Basically, I don't know. I guess he listened to your show and heard me talk about him, or something on the other show. So I guess he decided to call your show. Of course, he told you the other day I didn't bring him to your show. So one of your other callers actually brought him to the show. And I want to know who that is.
Yeah, I want to know who it is, too.
So I'm getting the blame for having that moron call your show.
Oh, I did. When you called me that day off there and said, "Well, Nick, do I need to take his call?" Yeah, take his call. Take him. Yeah, I mean.
But
when we
okay,
had that conversation,
and this
I gave you in other words, I gave you permission to take his call.
Okay, yeah, because you're the number one caller, and you determine.
That's right.
Right. So, but is there ever a part in your brain that you feel bad for doing it?
No, no, pal. Because other than me, he's the only one that ever gets you upset to the point where I think you're going to have a heart attack.
I've never been that mean to any caller that's ever called in.
Well, that's true. You've always given me my time, the plus time, extra time, whatever, somebody else's time. So I gotta give a shout out to you.
I mean, I've always been very respectful, and then here comes AC, and he's testing every part of my radio philosophy.
I told you about it. I said he ain't always got his elevator don't go to all floors now. I'm gonna tell you that. You know, he's a little crazy, and I still don't know what that word hollow means.
Yeah,
I'm still trying to figure that out.
Yeah, he must live down in the hollow.
That's what I figured when he says hollow.
Yeah, it's the only thing I can think of. I mean, I can't think of anything else.
But you need to school him. Well, you tried to school him, and I'll try to school him if they ever wants me to school him on what the rivalry between the Tide and the Cal College is about. It's about, you should have told him, look, AC, that rivalry it's about the state bragging rights. It's about the state bragging rights. And like I say, he don't live in Alabama. I lived there for years and years. So I know it doesn't matter what the records are. What I reckon, it doesn't matter. When we play that game, anybody can win that game. That's just the bottom line. I've had to sweat more damn iron bows in my lifetime that I don't ever want to have to sweat. That game's always a sweat game to me. I don't care what our record is and what their record is. And you know what I'm talking about. So do the people in the state of Alabama know.
So
it is what it is, Fowler.
Well, no, it is what it is. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, you gotta deal with AC, and you gotta deal with me. So, and you gotta deal with everybody else that I bring into your show.
Well,
which I'm working on.
We're just so forever grateful.
I want to hear from Jim from Tuscaloosa. Jim, if you're listening, call Fowler.
Well, Jim, when he calls in, he doesn't go by Jim. He goes by caller when he calls in to us. So,
does it call?
Well,
yeah, I know what it is.
Yeah, he's from here, so yeah.
Jim's in Tuscaloosa. I know Jim.
Yeah. Jim's in Tuscaloosa. He is in
Tuscaloosa. Get that, and I'm challenging you to call. I'm Monkey from Montgomery. Call Fowler. Calling you out, Monkey.
Okay. Well, we're
get on the phone to Fowler.
We're going to work on him. But I mean, if you were an Auburn fan, would you hang out in Tuscaloosa?
Yeah.
I mean, they've had 3 losing seasons in a row. They're not expected to be much better this year.
Hell, I'm an Alabama man, and I hang out in Americus, Georgia.
Well, I know, but that's true. But I mean, you've also dominated. Your team's dominated Georgia too.
Yeah, well, I've lived in Charlotte, North Carolina, and they know I'm Alabama. Everybody up there, and of course, there's a lot of people up there in Charlotte that's Alabama.
So
I just can't get them to call your show.
Bama Nick, what'd you think about?
I didn't. All I've seen on that is what pictures you posted on Facebook. I've seen those.
Yeah, we posted a lot. We posted video.
Yeah, right, a video. I saw that.
I just put up a video a couple of minutes ago, and it's Kalen DeBoer giving maximum effort in a ball security drill. I mean, he's a.
Well, yeah, but I was on hold with you, and I didn't want to go look at it because I was scared I might muck up and get cut off or something.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that.
When I'm on hold to talk to you, I don't go and look at other stuff, until I talk to you, and I'll see it. No, I think the practice went great. From what I saw, I think it had a great practice.
Yeah. No,
how did Milroe do? Was he out there?
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up because
was he still on his tour in New York?
Well, and tell you what, in the next segment, Bama Nick, lay off of his trip to New York. I know what you were doing now.
Yeah, come on, fella. I got to get something going to get you all wound up.
He was at practice. He was not in New York City. He was here. I know you guys were all worried about that. So no.
Did he have his playbook with him?
No, he forgot his playbook at home. I mean, come on, he knows his playbook. He's good.
Okay, all right, fella.
All right,
we'll know. Hey,
yes.
Tell AC to call back. Did you tell him to call you back tomorrow?
No. If he called back, he'd set on the show until tomorrow afternoon. So he'd be there. Yeah. He'd be there at 2:00 tomorrow. So.
Yeah, and this is another thing. Well, what was I going to say? I got dementia. I just lost my train of thought. I was going to ask you something here, fella. Give me a minute.
Okay.
Give me a minute. Give me a second. Oh, have you heard from Danny G? Is he going to call the show anymore?
Democracy Dan? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean.
I know what I was going to say. It came back to me now. Well, I've only had 6 PBRs. That's one reason I can't think. I need about 6 more. But
6 PBRs? That's what you've had?
So far.
6 PBRs?
Yeah. Little old 12 ounces. Nothing big, pal.
Light day.
Yeah. Oh, another reason I had AC, I got him to call because he's got to the point where he stays off my ass and he gets on yours more. No, you know how with his call, he was always on me about Bama Nick. Now he's on you. That gives me a break for a little bit.
Roll Tide. Well,
who you got coming up? Who's coming up next?
Well, Tony has quit the show. Tony, I
didn't know Tony quit the show.
Well, he's doing protests with Kamala.
Yeah, I think we talked about that a little bit yesterday or the day before.
Yeah, he's out there.
Well, that's all right. I'll get Tony back on that. I'll start bad-mouthing him, and he'll come back on that and get on.
Is that the way you do it? Okay. Well,
that's the way I do it. I start bad-mouthing everybody, and then they'll start calling you.
Oh, Roll Tide.
Fowler, woo, Fowler, all you Alabama people, Georgia people, and Texas, you don't have to love me. You don't have to like me, but you got to respect Bama Nick, number 1 caller to the game. Ryan Fowler Show, 100.09, whatever it is, 100.9, Tuscaloosa.
You don't need to know the frequency. That's pretty good. Bama Nick, I'd give you an A. Thanks, man. Have a great rest of your day.
All right, Ryan Fowler. Holler at you later, buddy.
Sounds good. Bama Nick helping us out. 6 PBRs deep. We'll continue with more of your phone calls. We'll take those. 205-342-9904. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
Bama real-time news update from the Tuscaloosa Thread Newsroom.
The Criminal Investigation Division of the Northport Police Department said they are asking for help locating a missing man who did not return to his home late Tuesday evening. In addition, temperatures in portions of West Alabama will continue to rise this week, which means heat index values will continue to go way up. You can check out these stories at the TuscaloosaThread.com. And the University of Alabama Crimson Tide football team began their first fall camp practice heading into the new season.
Get 24/7 local news coverage and sports updates when you download the free Tuscaloosa Thread app and sign up for twice daily email newsletters. Tide 100.9 Traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Moving in Northport, a crash on 43 on the northbound lanes at the Bladwoods intersection. Now it is creating a bit of a ruckus in the area as you're dealing with slow traffic. Not only on the northbound lanes, but southbound lanes are also slow. And McFarland Boulevard, well, we do have some slow
Experience the wow factor. Contact Shoot Masonry and Specialties at 205-887-3807 today and unleash your home's full potential.
For over 5 years in our community in downtown Northport under that Roll Tide Bridge, Mark's Mark, the home of the chicken swirl. You'll find that since 1978 in Selma, Alabama, for over 5 years in downtown Northport. If you want to dominate the grill today or any day, find Mark's Mark. A great stop by on your way home. If you're preparing for dinner, they've got a lot of those gourmet dishes that you can find, the great casseroles, the dips, the appetizers, the great steaks, the pork chops, the burgers, and all the supplies you need to dominate.
Just wet, squeeze, and erase.
Stop spraying, start erasing, and clean with more magic than ever with Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
The game is powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com. David DeSantis, the largest selection of new Toyotas in over 3 years, can be found on Skyline Boulevard, 3325 Skyline Boulevard. Also a nice inventory of pre-owned inventory. You can find the new Tundra, the 2024, the Tacoma 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive. How about a new 4Runner, Highlander, RAV4, Camry, Corolla? For those outside of Tuscaloosa, saved money by driving to Tuscaloosa and buying here with a great tax rate. Customer service is a priority at Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
This afternoon, we've got a heat advisory till 9 p.m. Temperatures reaching around 95 today. High humidity. Take extra precautions if you're working outside. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, the low near 75. Just a small chance of a passing shower. Storm late tonight and early Thursday morning. Otherwise, tomorrow will be sunny with a high near 95.
I'm meteorologist Bill Murray on Tide 100.9.
You're inside the game on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Chris Stapleton, thank you very much. Let's work you right back into the game. Let's go back to Kalen DeBoer talking about Jalen Milroe and that relationship they continue to build. Certainly a quarterback and the head football coach is going to have a lot of trust. He was talking about that and how he's seen him grow. I thought there was some really good insight into Jalen Milroe from Kalen DeBoer earlier today.
You know, I just try to, most racks, when I talk about rack, it's whatever, 4 or 5 play sequence or a drive. In practice, I just love following up with him, and he just takes all the coaching, and he knows when I coach him up, that's my job. We talk about teaching and critiquing and demanding excellence and the best, and he takes that and every play looking for it, and working to be better. I thought he had a really solid day all around, and I know he's far from reaching what he'll be even come next week, much less the first game.
There it is. Big topic of conversation. Around that quarterback, and we have seen him. That was Jared and Dallas had kind of asked me about that earlier. He just looks confident in the system, and I think when you look back at last year, now listen, we'll never know until there's live action and there is no contact jerseys that have been taken off, and he can dial it in. But he just looks comfortable. And I think that's, we were talking about this with Alex Scarborough earlier. When you look at the confidence of that offensive side of the ball, but also that defensive side of the football, when you look back at last year, I don't think they were. Whether it was too complex or maybe this just system didn't work out with so many different variables around this transfer portal. You got to count on younger players quicker. That's just one of the topics. Let's continue with more phone calls. We've got a Tommy and Romulus. Tommy, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
Well, Ron, how are you?
Good. Tommy, since you're here in Tuscaloosa, you want to be an intern with us?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
I'll do a better job. I'll be cutting some of your callers. They never would get on the radio. I'm sorry.
Well, who would you cut first?
OAC. I mean, what's the acidine call I have ever heard? And guess what? It was on a road. It must have been your lucky day. Because another one followed right up about him. Oh, I didn't tell him about the show, Ryan. Now he's back, Charlie. That man is not the number one caller. You know what he is? he's a burner, and he's a loser. He's a bunch of losers that brought in from another show. He wants Jim and Tuscaloosa to call in. I listened to Jim late at night, fussing on another show. He called people Satan, the devil, Antichrist. You know what? If I'm going to hear that, I go to listen to Pat Roberts. Okay? Robinson. I'm sorry.
700 Club.
Yeah, the 700 Club. If I'm going to listen to that, yeah, I brought you a good caller. No, man, you have brought callers that suck.
Tommy, would you rather have a colonoscopy or listen to AC?
You know what? I'm not due for another 5 years. I'd rather have my tooth pulled without numbing. Okay.
Yeah.
Or have a tube run down through my nose down my throat again before I listen to that. I mean, I bring the game. No, you don't. You don't know a damn thing about Alabama football.
Get it.
AC. Why don't you just shut your mouth up? Oh, nobody can handle my knowledge. Yeah, I can. Bring it, loser. Bring the other one. You know what? I've been watching this crap on TV, and I'm like, watching our government. I'm getting mad. And you know what? Football practice started today. I'm happy. You know what? I'm going to bring it. You're talking about morning callers. My God. Them two bore the living hell out of me. I'm sorry. I mean, good grief. Talking about mixing Ohio State. Let me tell you about the Alabama-Auburn rivalry. It is talked about and lived for 365 days a year. It's talked at the Thanksgiving table. It talked at Christmas party. It is talked about class reunion.
I mean, if there's one thing Auburn fans and Alabama fans can agree upon, we hate each other.
That's right.
And I mean, I don't think it's personal. It's just they don't like us and we don't like them.
It's a mutual hate of respect in one sense. So they are jealous of us.
Well,
we don't need them.
Tommy, let's ask this in an elementary question where AC can understand. If Iran was playing for Auburn, who would you pull for?
Oh, I guess I would have to pull for Iran because they have nuclear weapons.
Okay. That's question answered. Thank you.
Well, I mean, what else was I supposed to say? Being true Alabama fan. No, I would hope the earth.
Well, my finger was on the dump button if you'd have said that war, whatever stuff.
Oh, no, I was wanting to be an earthquake and it swallow both of them up. And we don't have to worry about neither one.
Oh, that's an
being
option.
true American and Alabama as I am. But no, this game is taught 365 days a year. At birthday parties, at weddings, at funerals, at bar mitzvah. It don't matter if you Christian, Jews, or whatever. You're going to talk in Alabama, you're going to talk Alabama-Auburn football. It's 365 days a year. People don't understand that. You got to live here to understand that. Well, the national media, I don't give a rat's behind about the national media. I live in Alabama. We don't have proteins. We have the Barons and all that, and you have the Biscuits down Montgomery minor league baseball team, and now they got the Stallions. But no, it's Alabama and Auburn football. It's SEC football. I mean, that's why they put 2 SEC games on TV a week. That's how important it is. I mean, if it's 7 o'clock at night, I'm going to watch Vanderbilt play Mississippi State. I don't give a hoot about Indiana and Michigan State. I'm sorry. All right? I'm sorry. Am I biased? You bet I'm biased. So I look through a crimson set of glasses. You bet even the sunglasses are crimson. And my half cup or half empty cup or half full cup is crimson wine. What else you want to know for the day?
Oh, I think you've pretty much covered it. Anything that Kalen DeBoer said that we've played that grabbed your attention?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think the man decided to be here. He's excited about football. He's excited about his team. I mean, I think the man is looking forward to coaching Alabama this season and many more seasons to come. I mean, I'm excited.
Well, I think the one thing that he said, that he was on with Dave Mahler a few weeks ago. And one of the things that I thought that he said that really grabbed me, he said there's not another job, and I know it's easy to say that now because you're here, but he said the only job, because, I mean, I think, remember when Kalen DeBoer stood up at that podium and he cried? He teared up talking about how much UW was special to him. And he was asked the question, why would you leave here? And he said Alabama would have been the only job in the country that I would have left UW for. Tommy?
Well,
pat yourself on the back. This place is special, man. And it's people like yourself and many others that have created this climate we call Alabama Crimson Tide football.
This is generation. This running my family. I'm the third generation that follow it. And guess what? There's two more after me. So I'm pretty sure there'll be a third one. It's the end. I mean, it's something you got to live here to understand it.
Amen.
You got to breathe in Bryant-Denny Stadium August the 31st at 6 o'clock, right before the leaves start turning their beautiful autumn colors, and you feel a cool breeze. There's nothing like it in the world. And I thank God every year that I get to go to that stadium another time. So, you know what? Am I bullish on Alabama? Yes, I am.
Well, I guess it's better than being bearish.
So what?
I mean, you went to a stock market term. I just, it's better than being bearish. You said, am I bullish on Alabama? Yeah, it's better than being afraid.
That's right.
Bear market, right?
That's right.
We're not afraid of anybody else. Thanks, Tommy.
No.
Appreciate you, man. Roll Tide.
All right, roll Tide.
Right back to you. We'll continue with more of the game. We'll take your phone calls. I do want to remind you about the pharmacy at Midtown. TJ Thomas, he's the Nick Saban of pharmacists. The pharmacy at Midtown. The pharmacy at Midtown. TJ Thomas. Always fun to be able to visit those folks over there. TJ will talk a little Alabama football with you as well. It's the only sterile compounding facility here in Tuscaloosa. All the compounding needs. Maybe there's a dosage that you are not able to get. And also something that we probably don't talk about enough. They do veterinarian medicine for you and your vet that agree upon to treat the loved one in your family. It is the pharmacy at Midtown, the pharmacy at Midtown, TJ Thomas. We'll continue with more of the game next. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Your home.
Nissan is your number one dealer, and they'll beat any written offer or pay you $1,000. Keeping you number one keeps Townsend Nissan number one. See dealer for details.
Rumsey Environmental, a one-stop shop serving West Alabama for all of your waste removal needs. If you're in the construction business, take a little bit of stress out of your life. The construction debris removal containers customized to fit your job site, the portable toilet service, the storage containers to protect your valuables. It's Rumsey Environmental for that complete waste removal service when you have to know.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
Alabama Credit Union with the official countdown to Alabama Crimson Tide football right here on the game, alabamacu.com. The mobile app saves a lot of time. The mobile deposits, checking, savings, mortgage, home equity loan, financing a vehicle, the great competitive rates. Alabama Credit Union with great branches all over West Alabama and throughout the state of Alabama. Alabama Credit Union, alabamacu.com.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Well, an accident over in Northport on 43 at the Flatwoods Road intersection. Now, we do still have some heavies in the area, but it looks like they've cleared the bulk of the accident out of the way. And we are still very tight on McFarland Boulevard. It's bumper to bumper on the westbound lanes at
As long as you want, you're ready to take on the day. And smell great doing it. Irish Spring Body Wash and Bar Soap. Fresh, green, Irish. Shop now at Walmart.
With only 43 seconds remaining, facing a 4th and goal from the 31-yard line at Jordan-Hare Stadium, quarterback Jalen Milroe finds himself under immense pressure, scrambling to connect with Isaiah Bond in the corner of the end zone for a miraculous come-from-behind victory over Auburn. The jaw-dropping 27-24 result came on the 10th anniversary of the Kick Six. Daniel Moore is proud to announce 4th and 31, his upcoming oil painting featuring the now famous Gravedigger play. New Life Art is now accepting pre-orders for limited edition fine art prints and canvases of 4th and 31. See the preliminary pencil sketch for the artist's full color painting at danielmooreart.com. Pre-order your artwork now by calling 1-800-735-2787 or by visiting danielmooreart.com.
Light up those phone lines on the game with Ryan Fowler. 205-342-100.9 app.
I can sit out here and waste my life away. Drag back home.
All right, we welcome you right back into the game here in Tuscaloosa. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports. Corey Trustfield. Corey, good afternoon. You're in the game. How are you, man?
Hey, Ryan. How you doing this afternoon?
Oh, man, we're good. We're good, man. 31 days away, brought to you by Alabama Credit Union.
It's coming quickly. So, let me ask you this. When you went out to practice, did it feel different, like just going out there and not seeing Nick Saban out there?
Well, and I'm not going to say that because everybody gets their question. Some people probably think my questions are dumb, but I hope at some point we can put the Nick Saban questions behind us. It just seems to be, well, what do you think Nick Saban would have done? Well, we don't know. We don't know. Not you, Corey, not Q. That's not what I'm talking about. I hope you didn't react that way. No, not you. But it's just over and over. I mean, this is Kalen DeBoer's, this is his program.
From what you saw from practice, I know it's just one practice, are you already feeling good vibes so far?
Yes.
Like I said, it's just one practice.
It's one practice, but Corey, I'm willing to go out on a limb.
How far?
I think this team's going to win it all.
What did you see from the secondary?
I mean, after 15 minutes of viewing practice, I'm willing to go out on a limb, and I think this team's going to win it all.
Wow. What did you see from the secondary?
I mean, it's one-on-one. I say one-on-one. It's individual drills. So we didn't see them being tested with wide receivers and vice versa. We didn't see wide receivers getting tested by defensive backs. It just, they look good in shorts and a jersey and a helmet.
Do you like the morning practice?
I will say this. The defensive backs are a lot taller.
Well, that can have some advantages because there are some, I'm pretty sure there's some tall receivers in the SEC, and you just hope that you don't get grabby, pass interference.
Yeah.
But, I read the interview article, and I'm wondering, what is Kalen DeBoer doing wearing that sweatshirt?
Well, no, Kalen DeBoer did not have a sweatshirt. Kane Womack did. Yeah. Kalen was in, a T-shirt. He had good common sense.
Yeah, I mean,
Corey, would you wear a sweatshirt on a day like today?
No. It was 105 degrees. It felt like 105 degrees. Well, now. And you could have heat stroke.
Yeah.
But do you like the morning practice thing?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I like it from my standpoint. Yeah. I mean, it's me being a little bit. But I mean, I like to be able to. I mean, I'm recapping practice in the afternoon rather than, talking about what I think will happen and what I saw. So it's. I like it.
What do you
think?
Well, I can get after work, I can get the details. Practice is already over, so I can get the details.
Yeah, because, think about, from now, It's.
Do you know anything about the Lank documentary?
A little bit. I know Walt Brock he talked to me out in Dallas about that. He's their new creative media guy, but he was also wearing a different hat out at SEC Media Days. I think he was kind of filling in as an SID, like rotating the players. I believe he had Malachi Moore. I believe he brought Wyatt Fulton, Malachi Moore. So Walt Brock is a guy that has created that and is kind of maybe the mastermind by putting all this together in a documentary. He's very, very creative, and at some point, not just the assistant coaches, but I hope we're given the opportunity, and I think we will be, to be able to talk with him and kind of explore, who he is and because this creative media, it's pretty solid.
Are you allowed to reveal anything about it right now?
Well, other than it's going to be released later this week, is it? I think, right? And that's going to be like Friday or Saturday.
I think so.
That's all.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait to watch it.
All I know is what it's been released. There's nothing. We don't have like a hidden press release or anything. I mean, it's pretty much what you know is what I know. But hey, Corey, I'm trying to be fair to the last couple of calls right here. I'm trying to squeeze in as many as I can. But go ahead, finish your question. I'm sorry.
What's the fall practice schedule look like?
Well, I don't know if I want to run through it all.
No, it's like Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday.
No, it's pretty much almost every day. I mean, it's fall camp as normal. We just don't have two-a-days. Yes, I mean it's a ton of practices. I mean, so I think Monday we're going to have pretty much every Monday off throughout camp, but it's fall camp. It's, combining as many practices as you can in a short amount of time that's legally allowed by the NCAA. Hey, Corey, I appreciate you, man. Roll Tide to you. Digger down in Louisiana. Digger, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Mark this day down, July 31st. You said you went out on a limb that y'all gonna win it all. I want
Digger,
that up
after
on the
watching
chalkboard.
15 minutes of practice, I'm ready to crown Alabama the national champ in 2024.
I want it on the chalkboard today. I'm up here in Austin, and I went and saw our practice. We're going to have something to say about that, buddy.
You went to practice?
I did.
What were you helping
12
them?
receivers all flying down the field. Yes. 3 quarterbacks in the backfield. I'm telling you, we're prime and ready to go.
Yeah, but
you
know what stands in the way, don't you?
What?
That'd be a Kalen DeBoer. And you know what your record is against Kalen DeBoer? You want to go ahead and tell the world?
What is my record against Alabama and Tuscaloosa? On Saban Field. Love it, man. I love it.
Hey, Digger, where did you get your name, Digger? I mean, is that a real nickname? I mean, I was asked by someone. I just wanted to pass that on. Is it a real nickname?
You didn't know?
No.
My grandfather was in the oil business.
Really? Well, now
my idiot friends thought my dad looked like Digger, Cliff Barnes' daddy on the show Dallas, and then they started calling me. And then my friend from hometown came to my fraternity party and called me Digger, and they all started busting out laughing about it.
You were a fraternity guy. You had to buy your friends, huh? You couldn't make them on your own, I guess. The last year and a half, I know why.
I was buying chicks. You know those girls wearing the bow heads? They come to these parties. That's where we meet them. Forget about the guys. They're disgusting. Have you ever been in a frat house?
No.
I don't even know how they stay in there, man.
Yeah. No, thanks.
No, it's for the chicks. If you want to call that buying friends, yes, I'll buy my girlfriends every chance I can.
Hey, Digger, roll Trump, roll. Thanks, man.
Yes, roll Trump, roll. And look, Pocahontas, the only way she's going to win if there's a dance pole on the podium there.
Oh, get out of here. We gotta go. Ellis, Manchester, Tennessee. Ellis, good afternoon, sir. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
It's finally here, Ryan.
It is finally here. Can you smell it? Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Take it in. Oh, yeah.
I bet you're glad you went home and took a shower, didn't you?
Yeah, I'd be smelling something besides football. Woo! Yes.
Yep. I'm tickled at death about it. I'm ready for it.
You know, I just had a buzzard fly up here on the windowsill. Get out of here. What in the world?
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
And we got Fan Day coming up.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes.
What's wrong, Ryan?
Nothing.